Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show and tell you about Noom. Has Noom helped you? I believe it has.
Oh, that's got an app. You can do tracking. It's terrific.
It does. Noom builds personal plans that can meet individual needs. That's the thing. Takes into account any dietary restrictions, medical issues, other personal needs. That helps build a plan that works for you. And yes, so I know that you've had your own personalized program here that you've been working on. And
it's weight loss This is weight loss results that last. They stick around because you get yourself into a lifestyle change. That's what matters.
That's mainly it. You can't just say, I'm going to cut that out for a month and then go back
to
it. That's not what it is. So I'm glad it's helping you. That's great. And it really does. I like the psychology and biology-based approach here. Yeah. Noom Weight uses psychology. That's why they say losing weight starts with your brain, but it also takes into account your unique biological factors, Jimmy. All of your multitude flora and fauna that goes on inside of you there.
Sure. Yeah.
Stay focused on what's important to you with Noom's psychology and biology-based approach. Sign up for your trial today at Noom.com, Noom.com here, based on 3.5-year study of actively engaged Noom users with minimum starting BMI of 25. Individual results may vary. Visit our website for more information. Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you a little bit more about Rocket Money. It's the start of a new year. It's the perfect time to get organized, set your goals, prioritize what matters most. And for me, top priority is getting myself together here. Financial wellness, doing that, which that feels important, just feels like adult stuff that you have to do. And thanks to Rocket Money, my goals feel achievable now. They show me all my subscriptions in one place, help me easily cancel ones I forgot that I've been paying for, which happened to me, absolutely happened to me. For years, I was paying for something. I was like, what is going on here? Rocket Money found it and saved me lots of money since then, because it's been a while. So they did a great job here. Rocket Money is a personal finance app that helps find and cancel your unwanted subscriptions, monitors your spending, and helps lower your bills so you can grow your savings. Rocket Money has over 5 million users and has saved a total of $500 million in canceled subscriptions, saving members up to $740 a year when using all the app's premium features. Cancel your unwanted subscriptions and reach your financial goals faster with Rocket Money. Go to rocketmoney.com/smalltownmurder today. That's rocketmoney.com/smalltownmurder. rocketmoney.com/smalltownmurder.
Now back to the show.
Welch's knows some things make zero sense, like why the algorithm knows your music tastes better than you do. But zero sugar and full flavor? We made that make sense with new Welch's Zero Sugar. All that passion fruit or tropical punch goodness and none of the sugar. You gotta sip it to get it. New Welch's Zero Sugar. Let's fruit stuff up.
This week, in Starke, Florida, an ad in a magazine causes a string of events to take place that results in 3 murders and several idiots sent away for a long, long time. Welcome to Small Town Murder. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Small Town Murder.
Yay!
Oh, yay indeed, Jimmy. Yay indeed. My name is James Pietragallo. I'm here with my co-host.
I'm Jimmie Whisman.
Thank you, folks, so much for joining us on another insane edition of Small Town Murder to have you gobbling about. This is wild. It's Florida. We're going to Florida. So
oh, boy.
When we do Small Town Murder in Florida, you know it's going to be crazy because there's so much to choose from down there. It's an embarrassment of riches if you're a murder podcast looking for crazy stories, especially a comedy murder podcast, because they're all ridiculous. So we'll get into all of that and more in a little bit, though. But first, definitely head over to shutupandgivememurder.com right now. If you head over to shutupandgivememurder.com/virtual live, you can get your tickets to the virtual live show.
Oh, yeah.
October 26th. It's a Halloween theme. We're going to dress up. It's going to be a Halloween-y, creepy murder. We're going to do all of that. The studio will be decorated all creepily. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be available for a week after that as well. So all through Halloween, get your tickets right now. We cannot wait. Just like a regular live show.
Right.
The visuals, the jokes, the murder. But we will be here, and and you will be there wherever you feel like watching us, anywhere in the world, with your own food and your own booze and your own whatever you're into. So and you could be nude and watch. We don't care.
Whatever. Yeah.
That's fine. Or you could wear a parka. We don't give a shit. It's up to you.
I will be under the clothes.
Well, under all our clothes, we'll definitely. Definitely. So check that out. Also, get your tickets at shutupandgivememurder.com for Dallas. All the kind of sold out all before that. Yeah. But I think there's a couple tickets left for Philly because we released our personal ones. So I think there's tickets left for that. And then Dallas, December 2nd as well. There's some tickets left for that. Everything else is sold out because you guys are awesome. Thank you so much for doing that. You certainly want to check out September the 18th, Monday morning, Your Stupid Opinions, our new podcast that we are so damn excited about, and we've had bubbling in the cauldron for a while, and it's finally all ready, and we cannot wait. Stupid people from all over the internet, dumb opinions and dumb reviews about everything you could imagine, from places to people to things to products. It's awesome. We can't wait to do that. That is September 18th, and you definitely want Patreon. Patreon.com/crime and sports. How much is it? Very expensive to get bonuses? No, it's a cup of coffee. One singular cup, $5 or more, whatever you want to do, gets you not only the whole back catalog of bonus episodes, a couple hundred of them to binge on, but new ones every other week. It's the best best bargain you're going to get, the best bargain bonus you're going to get. And this week is going to be awesome. We have, for Crime and Sports, which of course you have access to, we're going to talk about Operation Slapshot, which is a gambling operation that was going on in the NHL, including a very prominent player turned coach, and it was a big mess. And then we're also going to talk about the movie Slapshot, because somehow neither of us had ever seen it, which is crazy.
What a movie.
And we didn't put it in our list of top sports movies, and we feel like we need to give it its due. So we'll talk all things Slapshot. And for Small Town Murder, we're going to talk about something very fun, being what happened at Burning Man and all that kind of thing. We're going to talk about the Fire Festival.
Oh, boy.
People need to be reminded, since Fire Festival 2 is going to happen, and people are
don't buy tickets
actually bought. It's sold out.
Don't do it.
People actually bought tickets for that. So
it's sold out.
Oh, yeah. People are very dumb. So we'll talk all about that Fire Festival and the mess that was and everything that surrounds it. That's patreon.com/crime and sports.
All right.
Disclaimer, quickly, this is a comedy show. It's also a murder show. There will be murder. The facts are very accurate. Nothing is embellished for comic effect or anything ridiculous like that. That's what's so ridiculous about it, is that it's true. It would be no fun if we made anything up. So that's how this works. There will be jokes and there will be murder. But the way we do this is we never make jokes about the victims or the victims' families.
Why, James?
Because we're assholes.
Yeah, but
we're not scumbags. See, that's how that works. So if you think that sounds good to you, holy shit, are we going to have a good time. If you think true crime and comedy should never, ever, ever, ever go together, I don't know. Maybe you're not for us. Maybe we're not for you. Good thing we found out now. Maybe you want to give a listen. No complaining afterwards. That's what we're saying here. We laid it out for you. We told you what we do, as you do. Yeah. Let's do that. So that said, I think it's time, everybody, to sit back.
Oh, boy.
Let's clear the lungs. Let's all reach to the sky and let's all shout. Shut up and give me murder. Let's do this, Jimmy.
Okay.
Let's go on a trip. All right.
Yeah.
We are going down to Starke, Florida.
Okay.
Starke, Florida. It's not like John Starks. So this is in north central. This is like northeastern Florida, I guess you'd call it, basically.
Yeah.
You know how Florida's two panhandles stuck together, one that goes down and one that goes over. So it kind of looks like two legs. This is right in the taint. This would be like right in your, this is like right where your butthole would be, kind of a deal. So if you look at Florida.
Northeast or northwest?
Northeast. Northwest is over in the panhandle. That would be a foot.
So like right in the center, right near Pensacola. In that little crevice?
It's between Gainesville and Jacksonville, in between there.
Oh, it's far over there.
Yeah, in the northeastern part. Yeah, so it's a half hour to Gainesville, about 2 hours and 10 minutes down to Orlando.
Yeah.
If you want to go somewhere a little different. And then 2 hours and 45 minutes to Newport Richey, which was our last Florida episode, Natural Porn Killers, which you should definitely check out if you have not heard that, because it is insane. So this is in Bradford County, which is, no, it's Brevard that we have those patches. And We have the we have get out of jail free cards for Brevard County from the. That's awesome. We have like the patches. We have all this. He's like, here's all the stuff you'd need.
Yeah,
pretty much
the Atlantic too.
Don't kill anybody, but everything else you're fine. You'll skate on it. And we're like, oh wow, this is terrific.
And we'll take care of you.
Yeah, that was great. Thank you to the guy who gave us.
And keep your dick in your pants. So
yeah, we won't mention his name. We won't, but he was a good guy.
No.
He was a chief of police. Actually, he was a good guy. So this is area code 904. Motto here. All right. Southern hospitality at its finest.
Yeah.
A little bit of history here. Prior to the 1850s, nobody was here, pretty much. It was just kind of a open, desolate, sparsely settled. Then they announced a railroad was coming through here to connect the Atlantic Ocean with the Gulf of Mexico, and then people started coming in here. The first post office opened in 1857, established by George W. Cole. So I don't understand. Again, who's Starke?
Yeah, where's Starke coming?
Yeah, this guy. Nobody named Starke I can find here. Probably some guy from the railroad, I assume.
Probably the brakeman.
So the guy who decided to run the railroad by the town or something, because that's what they used to name it after. This guy, Cole, in 1859, obtained 40 acres of land around the post office, which is described as the original town of Starke. So he said, I'm going to buy all this shit and make a town out of it. Okay. They had a weekly newspaper, the Bradford County Telegraph, began publication in 1879, and it continues to be the oldest weekly newspaper in Florida today. Still around, which is very. I mean, how many newspapers have folded? Thousands.
How many people are still reading newspapers? That's impressive.
That's what I mean. Whenever I'm on a plane, I see somebody with a newspaper. I'm like, look at that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's weird because it's a fine thing to do.
Look at you doing it.
Look at you with a paper with like a physical.
Look at you hanging on to it.
Yeah, I'm like, look.
What
at
year is
that.
that from? Oh my God, that's today's paper.
New.
They're still making it.
I was
still
looking on the
doing
front for like JFK assassinated or something. You know, Nixon resigns or some shit. I was looking for, but no.
Nothing about Watergate. Huh?
Japs surrender. You know what I'm saying? I'm looking at like for old headlines, and it's not that. It's
not there. No,
not there. So they experienced tremendous growth in the 1880s and 1890s from the citrus industry.
Yeah.
When that came, when people decided they started liking oranges, which, by the way, oranges, people didn't have like an inherent want for oranges. They grew oranges, and Florida and California, both these places simultaneously created a demand for oranges. Like the whole have a glass of orange juice with breakfast thing, that wasn't like doctors said that. It's not some traditional thing for thousands of years. That's what the citrus growers said to try to sell orange juice in the 1890s and early 1900s.
You know, that may be the best campaign built by an industry ever. It's delicious.
It's great.
You know what I mean? The milk thing, you look like a fucking weirdo if you're just drinking a glass of milk.
It's thick. It's weird.
Yeah,
orange juice is sweet. It's good.
Delicious.
It's delicious.
Yeah.
It's got a lot of vitamins
alcoholic
in it.
beverages. Yeah.
You can kill the taste of vodka. It's fantastic.
Pour it right in your fucking champagne. It's amazing.
It's great stuff, man. So a bunch of northern people moved to the area, and tons of them moved to take a stake in the industry. But then in 1894, 1895, that winter, they had, quote, the Great Freeze.
Which ruined all their crops.
Fucked up all the orange groves and moved the citrus industry further south. Like, let's go. Okay. Where's the line that it didn't freeze at? Go south of
Arizona.
There. That's out there. Yeah. So Starke saw a lot of expansion when the highway came through and all that. There was a World War II Camp Blanding was near here also. After World War II, people continued to settle. A lot of the Army guys stayed here. So that kind of happened. They had the Strawberry Festival was born back in the day. We'll talk about that later here. The late 80s, it received national media attention during the proceedings of the Ted Bundy case.
It was there. Because that's right. I was in Jacksonville.
The prison's nearby in Rayford. So a lot of people were staying in this town. And also,
didn't he kill that girl in Jacksonville? Was it there?
I
little girl?
Don't remember. I think it was outside of Jacksonville, in the Northeast over there. So they also, in Lawton Chiles was Florida governor, and there was a notorious speed trap town, which was this town, Starke was. They had the governor had warning billboards placed on the exits of the highways saying that be careful because this is a speed trap town. So that's the kind. It's a town that makes, depends on people speeding through it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's never really a good sign. So
right.
Reviews of this town, because we don't know. Let's see.
Right. Tell me more.
Let's see what they say here. Reviews, 5 stars here. This is a community filled with God-fearing people that work hard and care to make a difference. Mm-hmm. It is a location that is central to everything Florida has to offer. 3 exclamation points. That's how central it is.
Yeah.
That's how central it is. It needs 3 exclamation points. And filled with good God-fearing people.
Yeah.
Okay, 4 stars. I grew up in Starke. It has always been a small town. Everyone knows everyone. It has a lot of potential, and we are currently working on our town growth. Working on it.
We're figuring it. We'll get there.
Downtown has a bit of a historic Mayberry kind of feel, which draws a lot of memories of the simplicity of life back then. Back when? On a fucking TV set in Burbank? Because that's where that was shot. That wasn't shot in Georgia.
That little guy doesn't have any hair today. Things change.
No, yes, he's very bald at this point.
Very disappointing. He didn't know it was going to turn out this way.
Fonzie doesn't exactly look the same either. So
no, he doesn't.
He says, overall, it's been a decent experience. My roots are here. I will always remember where I came from.
Oh.
That's important. Okay.
Never forget it.
Here's 3 stars. 3 stars. Starke is a very small country town in Florida. There is 1 high school and 1 middle school. The people are friendly. However, if you want to eat healthy, then this is not the place for you.
Lots of fried chicken.
It's not surprising. There is mostly fast food restaurants and no fine dining. Raising a family, yes. Nightlife, no. Okay, there you go.
I have high cholesterol. Abso-fucking-lutely.
Check. That's a good.
Yes.
That's a yes. 3 stars. I enjoy the supportive atmosphere in this small town community. However, the schools in this town have an overall grade of F. That's not great. This city also does not allow for much learning or job opportunities due to the small population. Allow is a weird word to put there. I get that it works technically, but it sounds like you have to go and they're like, nope, you ain't going to school, and they cross you off a list, and then you're not allowed to go to school.
You're done.
You're done. Sorry. Nope. It's not a lot of people here, so nope, you can't have a job neither. Click, you're out. Here's 2 stars. These are both 2-star reviews. They're both one line, and they kind of go together a little bit. One is there are no nightlife / entertainment options, which is going to be expected, and the other one is there aren't many job opportunities, which understandable. It's a small town.
Hand in hand, yeah.
People here, 5,669 is the population. So it's not a big place at all. Little place. Mm-hmm. For some reason, and this is way out of whack, there's usually a few more females than males. Here it is 55% male.
Dominate.
I don't know if that's citrus industry workers but there's not a lot of citrus here anymore. So I don't know.
Right.
I don't know what the hell that's about.
A lot of swinging dick around here, James.
It's a dick town. That's it. Dick and balls kind of town, if you know what I mean.
Heard of hick towns? Well, this is a dick town.
This is a dick town. Median age here, 37.1, which is just about normal. A lot of people 25 to 34, way over the average for that.
Really?
45% married, so a little bit lower. A lot of single with children, though, 24%, which is 2.5 times higher than the average. Race in this town, 62.9% white, which is exactly the national average there. 27.2% black, 0.0% Asian.
Oh.
No Asian people, not a 1. 5.1% Hispanic, which is a town in Florida with 5% is low for Hispanic people. That's low. 45.8% of the people are religious, which is below the national average. But out of everybody, 27.4% are Baptists. Is
that right?
Oh, yeah, we know. Baptists are the Catholics of the South. They're everywhere. They're all over the place. 0.0% Jewish, which Florida town with very few Hispanic people and 0 Jewish people is this is a strange place. So in this town, or in this county, Bradford County, last election, 23.2% of the people voted Democrat, 75.7% Republican, 1.1% Independent. The unemployment rate's pretty low here. Household income, though, very low. It is $33,958 a year.
Oh, boy.
Which is more than $20,000 less than the national average.
Yeah.
Not great. Cost of living, is also pretty low, though. That's the other thing. Housing is definitely low. Median home cost here, $205,000.
Fantastic.
So that's pretty low. And if we've convinced you, you don't want to grow oranges. You want to go down and eat fast food and be fine about it. We have for you.
We'll build a future.
We'll build a future together. We have for you the Starke, Florida Real Estate Report. Average two-bedroom rental here is $920, which is, again, cheap, well below the national average. Here's a three-bedroom, two-bath, 1,025 square foot kind of raised ranch that is, looks beat up a little bit. Just looks.
Oh, really?
Needs a lot of paint and some tile, and it just needs the outside. Everything needs a sprucing on this thing. Okay. Looks like it's just kind of been sitting there in the salt air.
It's going to take a couple months to fix it, too.
Yeah, it's kind of worn out. It's kind of shitty. The good thing about the listing is that they photoshopped furniture in some of the pictures.
I love when they do that.
Not in all of them. The walls are super dirty. Oh. Like it's not cleanable. You have to paint. Yeah, it's like where furniture's been, and there's like a mark around it where it's it's been there for 20 years.
Smoked in or some shit.
Yeah, it looks like maybe grandpa died, and we're selling their house now. No. So that is $174,000 for that.
It's very affordable.
Next up, 8-bedroom, 9-bath, T-bowl for each and every b-hole. That's a lot of b-holes there.
In the middle house, this is great.
This is 5,254 feet. Square feet on 40 acres.
Oh my!
It's the weirdest goddamn house you're ever gonna find ever. It looks like if you had like toys that were houses, but they were all different, and you had 5 of them, and you're like, I'm gonna make this into one house, and one of them's a raised ranch. I'm gonna put like a wood thing over here, and some bricks I'm gonna stick over here.
Oh no!
It's like a Frankenstein of like multiple bad houses, and they just
over the last however many years, people just been adding on to it.
It's so strange, and inside too, it is all doilies, and
really
it looks like Florida grandma lives here. Let's go down. Come on, kids, let's go down and visit grandma.
Grandma's got 5,000 square feet to come on over.
Yep. Oh, and it's got the, of course, quintessential raised tub with carpeting around it, which everybody wants in the bathroom there. $799,900 for that. That's 40 acres and a giant house.
That's incredible.
That's incredible. It's ugly as shit, but you can make it work. Here's a 3-bedroom, 4-bath, again, T-bowl for each and every b-hole, 4,976 square feet.
Oh, boy.
It's on a lake, right on a lake. Your yard goes out to this big, giant lake, which is a nice view, which in Florida, that just means you're going to be dodging fucking alligators.
Gators.
That doesn't, like...
Gators and flying insects that can carry your children away.
Keep me away from the water in Florida. I don't want to be near, like, any body of water that isn't salt. I don't want anything to do with it at that point. So, it's... very weird. It's a very boring house. It's real expensive looking. Everything inside looks real fancy and nice and expensive, and it is $4,500,000.
For a place you don't even want to use because you'll ruin the investment.
You'll ruin it all. Yeah. This is like an Airbnb that a rapper trashes, and it's on social media. That's what
we don't shower in that toilet. Stay out of there.
No, stay out of there, goddammit. That's not for you. Things to do here. The Bradford County Strawberry Festival.
Okay, yeah.
Yay.
Smells nice, yeah.
Oh, yeah, Strawberry Festival. I love strawberries.
Yeah, they're the best. Yeah.
The festival will feature arts, crafts, vendors, kids zone, laser tag, which I always think of when I think of strawberries. They go hand in hand, right? Great food and entertainment and more. It's a whole weekend. All capital letters, exclamation point. No pets allowed.
No, yeah.
Your goddamn dog home. They don't like that. Now...
Not a fan of German Shepherd hair on my chocolate-covered strawberries.
They don't want it there at all, damn it. I like it. To me, if there's a dog around and we're outside, I'm a happy guy.
Yeah,
hey,
if
look
we're
at this dog
outside,
and I'm
who
petting
gives
it.
a shit?
Yeah. If you're sitting at sit-down dinner in a nice restaurant, fine, keep the dog home. But we're outside, walking around a field in Florida. What are you kidding me? The dog can protect me from the gator.
Yes. Somebody in the upper echelon of designing this whole festival stepped in dog shit one year and has had enough of it.
Never again.
No more.
We won't have
These
it.
are brand new.
They're 2 minutes away from banning kids, too. So
these fairies were expensive.
He said each year the Florida Strawberry Festival hosts world-famous headline entertainment from across the globe. We work hard to provide our guests with a fresh festival experience each year, and every year by securing award-winning performers to fit guests of all ages. Okay.
Who the fuck is coming to this?
Wait till you hear. Gate admission is not included with the purchase of a concert ticket, so you have to buy these things separately. Okay. Right. For included with the ticket is Jimmie Sturr and his orchestra.
Never heard of them.
Sturr. I don't know them. These are all ticketed events after this.
Yeah.
The Oak Ridge Boys will be there.
The Oak Ridge Boys are playing a town of 5,000.
Yeah, how popular do you think the Oak Ridge Boys are as a draw nowadays?
I'd go see them. Fuck, I love them.
But I
love them.
How much do you think of a choice? How many times can they play Elvira? You know what I mean? Like, how many times, really? This is their porch singing tour, it says.
Oh, my. Are all of them still alive? I want to know how many of them are still alive.
Everyone in the picture looked 100, but I mean, they could have got other old guys to replace dead old ones. We wouldn't know.
As long as there's a guy with a good bass.
As long as there's that guy. Walker Hayes will be there.
Good
seems
singer.
like a country guy. Hailstorm.
She's terrific.
H-A-L-E.
And
Storm.
that's crazy that Lizzie Hale is playing the same festival as the fucking Oak Ridge Boys.
It's weird. Sarah Evans. This list gets
terrific.
weirder. The Gatlin brothers will be there.
Now you've lost me.
Old guys there.
Yeah.
Of course, with most Gatlin brothers, whenever they're around, you're going to see our next guest, obviously. Ludacris will be there.
Okay, now I've had enough of this place.
I don't know what's going on. And then Roots and Boots will also be there. I don't know who that is, but
is it the Roots and they're wearing boots?
I don't think so. I don't think they go with Ludacris and the Gatlin brothers too well, but I don't know what's happening there. This is a crazy event. We'll just say that.
Wow,
this event is fucking bonkers. And
Lizzie Hale plays rock, James. Like. She's badass.
There's also Willie Nelson's there. It was sold out. They have they have all these giant fucking acts, I guess, that people buy tickets for. They also have the Starke Bike Fest.
Okay.
It is a result of combined efforts of local motorcycle enthusiasts, the business community, and the city of Starke and Bradford County governments. Live music, contests, a terrific opportunity to meet other motorcyclists.
Well, sure. I mean, we're all here.
Great opportunity to be stabbed in a parking lot. That's what that sounds like to me.
Yeah. I mean, you're going to park next to them. You'll be there. You can talk.
Oh, take a ride through pre-interstate Florida back to a time when the journey was just important as the destination.
Isn't that dirt roads? You don't want to ride a motorcycle on a dirt road.
Probably not. I don't understand that at all. Crime rate in this town, what we're interested in here.
Yeah.
Crime rate, property crime is a little bit above the average here. It's not
Is that right?
A little bit more property crime, but violent crime, murder, rape, robbery, and of course assault, the Mount Rushmore of crime is almost double the national average.
Wow.
So there is some shit going on in this town, boy. I don't know what is happening. I didn't hear any of that in the reviews.
Yeah,
by the way,
said a word about feeling unsafe.
Twice as many people that I know as normal are being stabbed and beaten and robbed in the streets, but apparently there's bad stuff going on, and there's a lot of bad stuff going on in this story. Let's talk about a murder here. Or
let's do it.
Many murders, actually, we're going to talk about. Okay, let's go back to 1984, shall we? 84. Hulk Hogan is flexing all over the place. And
Is that Back to the Future, or was that 87?
That's 85, Back to the Future.
Okay, close.
85, yeah.
We're almost there.
You got here. This is, what? We got, like, Madonna's huge.
Yeah, she's crushing it.
Just to give you an idea of, put you in a place of 1984 here. So let's talk about a couple of people. Let's talk about Marlene and Cecil Beatty, B-A-T-I-E. Beatty,
that's not.
Or Beatty.
Yeah, that's a different Beatty.
Either one. Not like Ned Beatty or Warren Beatty. So Marlene is 27 in 84, and Cecil is 33.
Okay.
Now, that sounds nice. They're a married couple. The issue I have with it, though, is that when they got married, when they met, when they got married, actually legally married, Cecil was 21.
Yeah.
And Marlene was 15.
Yep.
Sophomore. That's sophomore.
Oh, man. And that was in the 70s, late 60s?
This was 12 years with 72.
Seven. That's far too late for that shit.
Yes, I mean, this
far
is not,
too late
this
for
is
that
not,
shit.
oh, your older brother died, so I need help with the farm, so now you marry his widow. This is not that. This is 1972. Get the fuck out of here with that.
Yeah.
This is crazy. So, wow. That's what was going on there. So this is the relationship.
Wow.
It's hard to have a healthy relationship, but out of
it really is, yeah.
when an adult met like a 13-year-old and courted her and married her. Took her away from all that pressure of her sophomore year of high school. That's a rough start. I don't like it. Cecil is a tree surgeon around Gainesville. That's what he does.
Oh,
which
like an arborist or actual?
I don't know. I know I don't like him right away because I've never been robbed. You could come up to me.
Never had more money taken from you.
And stick a fucking 9mm in my face and say, give me everything you got. And I would feel less robbed than when I had a fucking tree problem and the tree people had to come out and do it. Yeah. And they were just like, I don't know, $1 zillion. How's that? Good? I don't know. Is that the going rate?
Is that the right price?
I don't fucking know, but oh my God, I've never been robbed so blindly and by someone who saved a tree in my yard. That's it.
Yeah, but you have,
and it's like a 250-year-old. It's this giant, the fucking tree. It's this giant tree. It's
the fuck else are you going to do? It's going to rot out and fall into your fucking house.
It's 6 stories high at least. It's massive, this tree.
It's going to take all your power lines on your property.
Everything's going down. Going to crush my office, for Christ's sake. I'm going to be sitting on a fucking branch recording if this thing goes down. So, hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you about the safest sponsor ever, Simply Safe. Absolutely, these people will keep you safe. It's amazing. You know that every 26 seconds a burglary takes place in the United States, according to the FBI. That means that by the time this podcast is over, dozens and dozens of homes will have been targeted, ransacked. God knows what happens here. So protect your home before it's too late with Simply Safe proactive security system. Simply Safe helps stop threats before they even have a chance to break in. Named Best Home Security System by U.S. News and World Report 5 years in a row. And by us for about the last 8 years as well. If you trust us, believe me, you want Simply Safe. So visit simplysafe.com/small to claim 50% off a new system with professional monitoring plan and your first month free. That's simplysafe.com/small. There's no safe like Simply Safe.
Now back to the show.
This show, Small Town Murder, is brought to you by BetterHelp. Get yourself some therapy, everybody. Honestly, here. We often hear about, red flags that you should avoid. Hey, that's a lot of a thing. It's become a real phrase now, real cliche. Yeah. But why don't you focus also, you look at like green flags in friends and partners. Look for good things as well. Right. And maybe you're not sure what that looks like, though. Therapy can help you figure that out. What are positive things? What are the green flags? And then you can practice them in your relationship. It's absolutely a fact. And so, honestly, we absolutely are huge advocates for this. It really, really helps. BetterHelp is fully online, making therapy affordable. It's convenient. They serve over 5 million people worldwide. You can access a diverse network of more than 30,000 credentialed therapists, wide ranges of specialties there. Here's the coolest part. You're not getting along with your therapist, you're just not feeling it, you can switch at any time, no extra charge.
Wow.
The thing is, they want you to get help. That's it. And you can do it with BetterHelp. Discover your relationship green flags with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/smalltownmurder today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/smalltownmurder.
Now back to the show.
Our studio is now a treehouse, everybody.
When it comes to that, you basically got to go, how much is it to save it? How much is it to cut it down? Which one's cheaper? All right, we'll save it.
Yeah.
And why is that barely cheaper than cutting down this enormous tree?
And I can't, and it was. I think it was cheaper to cut it down than to save it. Honestly, I think it was cheaper because it was like a whole bunch of shit they had to do, and they had to chain a thing up to take pressure off of it. It's crazy, but I feel like a dick because it's this giant old tree, and I feel like an obligation to the area to fucking keep all this old tree.
I can't destroy this thing that's been here longer than the town.
That's what I mean. Longer than it's just like George Washington could have leaned against this tree. I'm gonna fucking cut it down. I just feel weird about that.
This tree watched my house build. That's crazy.
I can't do it. So anyway, he's a tree surgeon, and they have 2 boys. but they end up getting a divorce. Okay, so at this point in 84, they're not married, but they are in a huge custody battle. So that's always fun. That's a good time.
Hand in hand.
Absolutely. Those are always fun. Next up is her sister, Marlene. She has a sister named Debbie here. Deborah Ann Sims Bannister.
Yep.
Sims is their maiden name, Marlene and Debbie, and Bannister, she's married. So
got it.
Deborah Ann Sims Bannister goes by Debbie. Their parents are Franklin and Iris Sims. They seem to come from a nice family. Frank was an insurance agent.
Okay.
That's nice. In the early 1970s, he and the girls, these two, before they got married off young here, moved to a trailer park just outside Gainesville.
Hell yeah.
And right after they moved to this trailer park outside Gainesville, which is optimal conditions to raise your children, obviously.
Great place to be.
Both of the girls dropped out of high school and got married.
May as well.
Perfect.
Fuck.
Isn't
What's
that
the
nice?
difference?
Yeah, fuck it. So, you've done a bang-up job when both of your kids are, before their junior year, they're just married off and out of the house. You've really helped mature them at that point, right?
Married off, done with school, and living in trailers in Gainesville or
Yay.
nearby.
With guys well older than them, by the way.
Right.
With guys who can legally buy alcohol. Perfect.
Awful.
Excellent. So, and in the United States, that's 21.
Right.
Because in the rest of the world, if you're in England, you're like, yes, 18. No, it's 21 here. So
go back too.
That's how it is. So Deborah, she ended up, when she was 19, she got married to Joe Bannister. And she dropped out and started seeing him earlier. He was Joe Bannister.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, Joe Bannister, who was 12 years older than her.
Okay.
So both girls picked older guys. The 21-year-old seems a little more, because if you're 15, you think 21-year-olds are cool.
Oh, and they're so smart.
Because they're like a grown-up kid at 21.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're still a kid, sort of, and to a kid, you sort of look like a kid, but you have like a job and an apartment and a fucking car and like all this stuff that...
know how to write a check.
Yeah, you can write, like, you have like a checkbook and you're buying fucking hard liquor and you're like,
it's amazing.
Wow. This is crazy.
You.
So
You're doing it.
I could see a girl or a young guy being attracted to someone who's 21 because that just feels like someone who's a little cooler than you.
Yeah.
But 12 years older, that's like,
that's almost 30.
A grown up. He was 31 at the time.
Oh, dear Joe.
When they got married. So, I mean, that's a lot.
It feels like
it's legal, but it's also kind of weird.
Holy.
And 12 years isn't that much of an age difference. And later on, if one was 46 and the other was 34, we'd never say a fucking word about it, you know?
You're looking a lot earlier than me, all right?
72 and 60. We'd go, good for you people for finding love late in your life.
Right.
Terrific. Hey,
yeah.
Hats off to both of you. But this is
31 and 19 is, oh my God.
Not only that, he's had like experience. He served 5 years in the Air Force.
He's seen other countries.
Yeah, he's been to war. That was in the Vietnam era.
Yeah.
And before he came home and got a job with Western Electric. So,
oh, wow.
He's a grown-up, like a full-on grown-up. Like, I was in the service for 5 years, and now I take a shift down at the electric plant there, and she's like, well, isn't Leaf fucking Garrett cute? Like, what's happening? It's the 70s at the time.
How Florida is that? Your electric company is called Western Electric, and you couldn't be more Eastern.
Well, the Eastern's just on the water, and then once you get from there, it's Western. We get away from that. And also, not only is he an Air Force war veteran who works with the electric company, he also has already been married twice.
Of course he has.
So
why not?
That's what you love. Your teenage daughter to marry a twice divorced, almost your age, Vietnam War veteran who works for the electric company. Perfect.
Very stable man.
This is great. I mean, at that point, he's got a steady job and all that. I guess that's what they were looking for. But also, he's already been divorced twice. It's a lot. Now, by 84, though, they're married. She's married to Joe. They're still together.
It's still kicking. It's going.
Marlene and Cecil, though, they have divorced and are in the middle of a custody battle. Okay. Now, Debbie and Marlene sit around and they're like, how can we get Cecil to be cool about this child custody thing? You know what I mean? How can we get him to understand that we mean business, damn it?
Okay.
So they said, maybe we can find a way to scare him. Maybe we can scare him. We can have somebody like go up and be like, oh, you better fucking be nice to your fucking ex-wife and give her the kids or I'm going to kick your ass or something. Maybe we can have him like shook up and scared. Run
the agreement based on fear. Yeah.
That seems very healthy. As a very healthy way to decide the living arrangements of your children, by the way. That's good. Smart. That's thinking.
Yeah.
Wow.
It works for some places and some people, but I don't think in family court it's the best choice.
Probably not. Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm going to give her custody. What made you change your mind, sir? Well, a large burly man approached me in the street and threatened my physical safety if I didn't. So I'm going to go ahead and give in. Oh, well, by all means, go with
a man
your
said
mom, kids.
A man said it was good for my kneecaps.
I don't know. Yeah, he said it's going to be better I'm going to be healthier if I do this. I mean, I don't know if he meant like I'd have more time to like eat good foods if the kids weren't around, and more time to take care of myself. Or if it was
I'm told if the kids live with me, my blood will be on the outside of my body. So I don't think that'll support life.
I tried to think about it. It didn't sound good. So I'm going to go ahead and sign these papers. So they're thinking, but who can do this, though? I mean, honestly, if you're a normal person, normal people don't know people who are willing to do this.
Right.
Just your average. Think about it right now. Everybody's sitting out there. Who could you go to literally scare someone into signing their children away?
And here's the other thing. If you can think of somebody real quickly, get that person out of your life right now.
They're probably I can
Stop what you're doing.
I can think of a few, which is terrifying.
Yeah, right. Never be around them again.
No. So they don't know anybody, though. They can't think of anybody. And they're like, also, we don't want it to be like, one of our friends doing it. Then
can't be a traceable,
Cecil will know who it is, and it'll be less threatening at that point. If you see some stranger, that's so this guy means business. So Debbie, I don't know if she picked this magazine up in search of this, or if she just happens to be a reader, or if the fact that her husband was in Vietnam, he might get this magazine and she was just flipping through it. But Soldier of Fortune magazine somehow comes into Debbie's hands.
That's a real magazine.
Soldier of Fortune is absolutely a real magazine.
Hilarious.
It's just ads for like Rambo knives and, horse shit like that. And, these binoculars are great. And, for cosplaying.
Yeah, for ex-soldiers or for douchebags.
Douchebags and ex-soldiers. That's basically what it is. So not that they're not the same group. We're saying ex-soldiers and also douchebags. And I'm sure there's a Venn diagram where it crosses over of douchebag ex-soldiers. There's douchebag everybody's. So there has to be that in the middle somewhere. So she sees an ad in Soldier of Fortune magazine.
Yeah.
And here is the ad. I have the fucking actual ad here, which is hilarious. Professional for hire, in all capital bold letters. Professional for hire, weapons specialist, jungle warfare, pilot, highly skilled individuals or teams, discreet and confidential, any assignments, U.S. and overseas, WSG. I don't know what that means.
World Series genius.
Well, I think it's, World Series Game 1.
It means something.
So that's the ad she sees, and she goes, "Oh, sounds perfect." Well, I don't know how
For what?
For what? Weapon specialist, jungle warfare? He'll go scare Cecil. This seems like he probably would, blow Cecil up from a helicopter maybe or something. That's what he's...
she's hiring fucking Rambo.
Well, we can hang an M60 out of that chopper and we'll just take that whole village out on the way over, boy. I'll tell you something.
She's hiring Gary Busey from Tommy Boy.
This is insane, dude. Yeah, this is crazy stuff. So she says, "This is the one.
Yeah,
I like it. This guy sounds like my kind of guy. Let me give him a call." So she does.
Right. And she picks up the phone and dials Mr. Weapon Specialist.
Hello, are you the jungle warfare pilot? Hi. Would you scare
WSG
a man into
weapon specialist something, isn't it?
Maybe.
Yeah.
I have no idea what it is. I'm not even gonna. We're not gonna speculate because we're wrong. We're always wrong. We're never right when it comes to shit like that. So she calls this idiot here, and she's like, I am going to get this done because, like I said, all this is the exact qualifications you need to have a guy, give up every other weekend with his kids. Yeah. So the guy's name is John Wayne Hurd. Yes, John Wayne, his parents named him.
Hurd.
John Wayne Hearn. So here he is. Hearn, not Hurd. Hearn. Hearn.
Okay.
1945, he's born here. So he's a couple years older than the rest of the group here. Now
this man is real.
He's a real guy named John Wayne Hearn. He put this ad in Soldier of Fortune magazine.
Hilarious.
He's a real man. He's a big fuck, too. 6'4", 275.
Jesus.
Big burly son of a bitch here. Now, a little bit of his background. His mom's name is Mary Watson.
Okay.
And his mom was 17 when she was pregnant, and her husband had been killed in World War II. Wow. So it's like late 1944. Dead husband knocked her up, went to the war, got killed. So now she's 17 and pregnant.
Yeah.
Somehow, this is her. She must have been a fast talker. Somehow Mary got remarried before the son was born.
In 9 months, she met and rocked up a new marriage.
A new guy, pre-18. As a 17-year-old, she's already got 2 husbands.
Baby,
she's a widow,
Avon
baby on the way.
Yeah.
She would rock a multi-level marketing like nobody's business.
This woman have a pink Cadillac in 5 years.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus.
She's making money off so many people.
Yeah.
So she somehow does that. John Wayne is born, and they said that she was clamped to him all the time when John Wayne was born. Just, your dad's dead. Yeah. You're not going anywhere. Yeah. And just mothered him, and they said everyone said that she acted like he was the only human being on the face of the earth. Little John Wayne. She even had other children, but with
none
the new
were
husband.
as important as John.
No, John was the little prince of everything, and then the other kids were, they're the other kids. But they said
the other kids.
It's described as a fascination and obsession with John. Like she's in love with him, like in a weird motherly way. Yeah. It's very strange. Always favored over the other kids, which causes rifts in the house, obviously. Yeah. Everyone said no matter what he did, could do no wrong in his mother's eyes.
Huh.
The other kids would be disciplined and shit, not John. John Wayne was a different story. You didn't want to discipline him or anything like that. So if anything happened, if he did something, she would blame somebody else for it. Really? Well, he only did that because of this and that. It's their fault, not his fault. How dare you talk about my little John Wayne like that? He's perfect.
He is just perfect.
He's an angel. Mommy's little angel. Little John Wayne angel.
Mommy's little man.
That's him. He's like the kid in League of Their Own. That's what
Good
I picture.
For him.
Running up and down the bus with hands full of chocolate, slapping ladies. Stillwell angel. So everybody's like kind of annoyed by this. Even when he ends up enlisting in the United States Marine Corps.
Yeah.
He signs up for the fucking Marine Corps. She didn't care. She was still up his ass.
She wanted to go?
While he was in boot camp, she often snuck into the camp perimeter to watch him do his early morning physical training drills.
You don't come to PT, Mom. What are you doing here?
She would sneak into a federal military facility, which to watch her son do calisthenics. What the fuck kind of weird lady is this? That's
and a
weird.
one and a two, Johnny. Keep going. You're doing great.
What happens when they yell at him and tell him to do push-ups? Because even if you do everything right, they're going to yell at you and tell you to do push-ups. Would you stop yelling at my John? Like, I'm the drill sergeant. You do push-ups now, lady. What the fuck are we talking about? Imagine how embarrassing that would be. Mom.
He's our John now. You don't own him. I own him now.
Mom, I'm in the Marines now. Stop. You gotta stop, Mom.
You may own his heart. We own his ass.
I'm a killing machine, Mom. Stop.
Mom, I kill them all and let God sort them out.
Born to kill, Mom. Born to kill. Leave me alone.
We're a department of the Army, Mom. The men's department. Get out of here.
Get out. You're not welcome, Mom.
If Uncle Sam wanted me to have a mom, he'd have issued me one.
He'd have issued me one. That's what the drill sergeant said, and I believe it, Mom.
Jesus
man. And she's
Christ.
yelling at the drill sergeant, slapping the hat off his head, probably. Bopping him one.
She snuck in to watch.
Snuck, not just once, often. This was a
All the
common
time.
thing. Like, they'd be like,
Wow.
oh, Christ, is that the, there she is again. Here's Mary again, this fucking lunatic. So things are a little weird here. When it came time for his duty station assignments, Mary raised a fucking insane, crazy mess with military officials until they decided to finally station him near home so she'd shut the fuck up. She bullied the United States Marine Corps
into
doing what she wanted.
Good assignment.
Can you imagine? They probably said if we send him somewhere she doesn't like, she's never going to leave us alone. Ever. We're never going to get rid of this lady.
She's going to fly to Saigon,
Who cares?
you guys.
I swear to God, she's going to be peeking over a fence on the demilitarized zone. She's going to be hanging out in the DMZ dodging landmines. I mean, Mom, you can't be there. No one's allowed to be. Mom! It's not okay.
That's embarrassing.
That's very embarrassing for the Marines. You know he got picked on because his mom
God,
came and
every
watched.
day.
No one else's parents are doing that.
No.
So, Jesus Christ, man. By the time he's here, he's 6'4", like I said, 250 pounds. Wow. And it's not just the career, the military thing. She's also like meddling in his love life, telling him he should break up with this one. This one's a nice girl. She's just trying to run his life like he's a 7-year-old. But he's a grown man who literally joined the Marine Corps, which people used to do that to get away from their family. And he can't even get away from, where does he have to go? Prison? Like,
fuck their family. They did that to get away from the state. Like everything involved in their lives.
It's wild.
He can't even escape his mom.
No, he can't. He does 3 tours in Vietnam, which
3.
I assume she had to let him go at that point. I don't think she was over there hanging out in a fucking rice paddy with him. Here's fresh. Did you pack fresh socks, John? You're going to need them. Come on.
I've never heard of more than 2. He did 3.
3, I guess. Yeah, that's what he said. Because he's a pilot. I guess maybe that was more needed, I suppose, if you're that's a skill, I would assume. After this, he ends up having, partially because of his mom, because his mom will tell him when he shouldn't be with a woman anymore. Yeah. He'll end up having 4 wives.
Oh,
4 over like a 12-year period. He has 4 wives and several long-term girlfriends in there. Jesus. All of these end in disaster. All of whom will later say they left John because of his mother and her intrusive, overbearing ways.
Really?
She drove 4 wives away in a decade, or 15 years. That's impressive.
Yeah.
That's impressive. So by 1984, he's working kind of jobs here and there. He's doing some stuff. He's alone. It's just him and his mom all the time now, which is just what she wanted. But he's 40 years old at this point, 39 years old. It's like, hey, Mom,
Jesus.
For Christ's sake here, I've gone through 4 marriages. I feel like a failure. So he tries, he does a bunch of work. He gets a job here for a month and quits, and then gets a job for 2 months over here. Yeah. He says none of them offered the excitement like it was in Vietnam.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not allowed to kill people here. It's a problem. Very few, not a lot of explosives I get to set up. It's not as fun.
In the grocery store here, I can take an avocado, pretend to pull the pin out of it, and launch it over the aisle.
I launch it like 6 aisles over. Every once in a while, a child screams, so it makes me feel better. But
sometimes I hit a housewife. That's fine.
You never know. She gets pissed. So I'm telling you hit the kid, too. She gets pissed. Then you got to duck down and do the crawl through the cereal aisle. Below the Count Chocula. Yeah. So he loved it there. So he just said it was on a whim. He places an advertisement in Soldier of Fortune magazine, which is the one we told you. By the way, he read Soldier of Fortune religiously. It was, the new Soldier of Fortune's here. And he was
so weird.
His evening is all set at that point. So, and that's the weapons specialist, jungle warfare pilot, highly skilled individual. It's that's the one he puts in there. So
his ad.
He envisions in his mind, he put this in here, he envisioned basically the A-Team television show. He envisioned, I'm going to put together a team of mercenaries, and we're going to focus on covert operations and clandestine killings of, dictators and that sort of thing.
Around the world?
Around the world. They think they're going to be hired by, the rebellion in some country to take out their dictator leader. The CIA does that already. We don't need... That's what they did for decades. We don't need you for this.
Does he envision himself as the leader?
Yes. No. He's absolutely putting this team together. He's the guy with the ad in Soldier of Fortune.
The guy that loves when a plan comes together.
They might have skills, but nobody else thought to put an ad in a magazine. Obviously, he's the leader, clearly. So that's what he wants to do. Clandestine dictator killings, as one does. He learns pretty fast, though, that instead of that, he's getting all sorts of just
people
domestic
looking for
stuff.
Hits.
Greedy spouses is what he said, just constantly. His ad appeared in 4 issues of the magazine in late 1984. Jesus. And he was also another ad he had seeking former Marine and Vietnam veterans and weapons specialists with jungle warfare expertise for high-risk assignments in the U.S. or overseas. So he said it's either killing dictators or like bodyguard security work, they'll hire him to oversee a security operation where he'll come in and make sure the venue's clean and, all the exits and set up all the people and, set up there with a sniper rifle. I don't know what he's supposed to be doing.
Hilariously, we're laughing about this from 1984. I guarantee this same fucking ad exists today.
Oh,
a million times on the internet. Yes.
Tons all
They're
over the
everywhere.
place. Just not in a physical magazine here.
Yeah.
So he was working at this very moment as a truck driver, but obviously that's not as exciting as you can't stick an M60 out the window and
not a lot of Charlie lining I-40.
No, it's just not a lot. It's very rare do you find that normally. Sometimes around the Oklahoma City area, but outside of that, you never know. So this is in the Atlanta area. He's driving a truck. The ad generated 10 to 20 calls a day.
A day?
I thought once a month maybe someone would call that stupid ad. 10 to 20 calls a day, so many he had to hire an answering service to take care of them. You'd call an answering service.
For murder.
For different things. A lot of it was, can you spy on my husband? Can you do shit like that? Can you spy on my wife? Can you, whatever.
I listed a couch 2 weeks ago. It took me 3 weeks to sell it. I got 4 people interested.
4. Well, if you were
this guy's
offering
got 10 a day.
If you were offering jungle specialism and shit like that, I bet you would have gotten a lot more hits.
I should have listed it as a jungle specialist sofa.
Willing to kill your ex-husband. You would have gotten a lot of hits on that ad, Jimmy. That would have been the one right there.
It was willing to annoy your husband because it's old and ugly.
Oh my God. So 10 to 20, he hires an answering service to
Unbelievable.
Take care of the extreme volume here. Wow. He said, quote, probably 90% of the calls I received concerned illegal activities.
Yeah, because you listed it. It sounds like illegal activities.
Even the way it sounds, kind of everything's a little coded. I'm not saying exactly what I'm saying.
Right.
If he said, we'll kill people for money, it would seem less real than what he put.
It sounds like a website where you would see it and go, this is the feds.
That's what that is. Okay, I see. So he said 3 to 5 of those daily concerned killings.
Oh, my.
3 to 5 calls a day. That's how many people wanted to murder people in 1984.
Unbelievable.
Well, others concern drug transportation and sales. A lot of times. Can you get can you get 10 keys into the country through your clandestine operations?
Let's hire a mercenary from the jungle.
I mean, why not? Give it to him. Let him do it. Let him take the rap. Either that or also illegal arms transportation and sales and assaults as well.
Holy shit.
So can you get me a whole bunch of guns, military grade guns and beat the shit out of that guy? So, wow. So through this ad, he meets 4 Vietnam veterans.
Oh, boy.
These guys here. Guys named Don, Jeff, David, and Warren. Those are his buddies here. Those are going to be his carry out the assignments guy.
Okay.
He claims, and I don't believe this at all, He claims that one of the guys whom he would not identify, obviously, that means it's super real, you know. I love that when people are like, I'll give you this information, but I can't tell you that. So that means you think it's real, obviously, because I said, now I'm being secretive. So, he must be telling the truth. He says that one of them whom he would not identify had been involved in a coup in Haiti and was in prison there for a time.
In Haiti.
Yeah. In Haiti. He went to Haiti, obviously, to overthrow the government, and that doesn't work out sometimes, and now he's imprisoned over there, but I can't tell you who that is, though.
It's the most unstable government on the planet, so probably there's a coup designed every day, and one of my guys was there.
It's a hurricane could come through at any time is the problem. So there is that's crazy. So most of the calls were a lot of Vietnam veterans looking for work. So he had a lot of, he could pick and choose his team, basically. Wow. He had a lot of guys for that. And he said that these people were willing to use their combat training to do whatever needed to be done.
Oh, my.
Whatever. But one call, he said, stood out from everybody.
Oh?
One call. And that's a call from a young woman named Debbie Ann Sims Bannister. So he said it was a young woman. She had a sultry voice, sexy. Sexy, sultry voice, and was calling because her family needed help. She didn't say much more. She only left a telephone number. She's like, "Hi, what's happening there, stud? My family needs help. So much help. Oh, God, they need help. Help them. Here's my number. Hope to hear from you, big boy." And he's like, I got to call that shit back.
A sexy voice called for hire.
Wow. So he imagined a beautiful woman, he said, just this gorgeous woman. And he said, I was intrigued and I called that one back.
That was the whole angle of 1-900 numbers in the 90s.
He was like, oh, shit. Well, thankfully, the 1-900 numbers didn't ask anyone to kill for them. That's
right.
Good. Hi. Did you come yet? Good. I need you to kill my father. Yeah, break in through the back door.
For $9.99 a minute.
Early. I'll put a gun in the garage. Oh, yeah.
Can you believe $600 an hour to hear that?
That's how lonely people were.
Yeah. Higher prices than a lawyer to jerk off to a hideous person with a hot voice.
Well, you could hire a live person to not be on the phone back then for less than that, I would assume.
What do you mean?
$600 an hour?
No,
you could hire an actual lady. An actual lady to come over and talk dirty to you in person for that price.
Yeah.
Probably 3-4 of them you could have gotten.
Yeah, for $600 you probably could have got them to do anything you wanted.
This and that.
American Psycho style.
No, not you. Next one. What do you got?
It's an asshole. Eat it.
No, I don't like your voice. How about you? Hey, everybody. Just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you a little bit about Sono Bello. You know, the most known secret with celebrities and influencers and all these famous people is so many of them have had lipo. They've had lipo, whether it's a little touch-up here or a total makeover. Yeah. Nobody has a perfect body. That's the thing. No. They may look like it on TV, but there's things that help that. Absolutely. Lipo now has changed, and Sono Bello's been at the forefront with using LAL technology and getting those beautiful and natural outcomes for each person. Looking real natural. Our friends at Sono Bello are offering their best deal. You're now included in their winter savings event, but appointments are limited, so please get on this. Sono Bello doctors are masters in micro laser fat removal, a brilliant technique that removes stubborn fat permanently wherever your problem areas are. Tummy, love handles, thighs, arms, it's gone in one comfortable visit. Eating healthy and workouts are great. Keep doing that, but if you want to lose that stubborn fat in one visit, check out Sono Bello. Save big during their winter savings event. Schedule your free consultation now at sonobello.com/smalltownmurder. That's sonobello.com/smalltownmurder.
Now back to the show.
Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you a little bit more about our stylish friends at Quince. That's right, let's go elevate your styles, people. Yeah. Get it going, look good out there, and you can do it now without breaking your wallet, without breaking the bank, because at Quince, you can get high-end, versatile pieces at prices we can all actually afford, which is very nice. You want to get good stuff, that lasts and it's good, and they have quality stuff that's very affordable. And you can do like we did, upgrading our stuff here, while still being a very reasonable price. Quince only works with factories that use safe, ethical, responsible manufacturing practices, along with premium fabrics and finishes. It's all quality stuff. You're going to love it. Trust us, it looks good. And I've got the leather jacket. It's a very high-quality item. Real nice, soft leather. Yeah. Jimmie's got his linen pants he's rocking.
Yeah, they're terrific.
Come on, be like us. Be fashionable. Get in there with Quince. Indulge in affordable luxury. Go to quince.com/smalltownmurder for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. That's QUINCE.com/smalltownmurder to get free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/smalltownmurder.
Now back to the show.
Hey, everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you a little bit about a very cool place, Thrive Market. Yes, we are both looking to get into the healthy swing this year. The problem is I don't know what's in everything, and I don't know if even I'm qualified to even read the labels to know if that's good or that's bad.
Right.
There's chemicals and things, and there's things floating around. I don't know what I'm doing out there. One of my favorite features, and I know you were talking to me about this, is the Healthy Swap Scanner in the Thrive Market app. Yeah, it's simple. You scan any item, and it'll instantly suggest a cleaner, healthier grocery alternative, which is
it's great.
Amazing.
Yeah.
That's great. Thrive Market also takes the guesswork out of finding these safe, healthy foods. For example, like I'm trying to get my protein intake up for energy. I'm always moving around. I need stuff, and I love that you can filter their site by the high protein options.
Nice.
It's very cool, and you can personalize this portion, and you can put filters on it. And get ready. You should be ready for a junk-free start to 2025. Get ready for it and head to thrivemarket.com/smalltownmurder and get 30% off your first order plus a free $60 gift. That's THRIVE market.com/smalltownmurder, thrivemarket.com/smalltownmurder.
Now back to the show. He's a dude, but he'll do. It sounds great.
Yeah, sounds good enough. So he imagined this beautiful woman, and he agreed to meet her halfway between their houses in the sexiest of locations, a Shoney's.
Oh,
yeah.
Shoney's parking lot.
Get in that booth and get it on, baby.
A fucking Randy Travis song.
Jesus Christ, a Shoney's. Which is, how would you describe a Shoney's to people?
Shoney's is Jesus. There were Stuckies. They were. I mean, it's a truck stop that like has a little like a corner mart inside that has like
if
trinkets
Denny's
and
looked
stupid
down on
shit. If the waitress from Denny's had a best friend and she worked at Shoney's, she would constantly be telling her, "Girl, you're better than that."
Girl, I'll let you know when we're hiring, okay? I'll let you know first. I'll tell my manager all about you. You're right.
I'll let you know when Wendy retires.
She'd been here 46 years. It's got to be coming. She limps worse every day.
When Wendy's looks down. Shoney's is gross.
So she introduces herself. Hi, I'm Debbie Ann Sims Bannister.
Shoney's.
But you can call me Debbie.
Oh, yeah.
Bitch, no sexier name than Debbie. So
yeah.
Right away, he's hard. So she goes on to tell John about her sister Marlene and this awful, nasty ex-husband of hers named Cecil. Oh, he's a mean, mean man, and we need to scare him and all this stuff. So during this first meeting, she leaned across the table, and this is a weird move, and kissed him on the tip of his nose.
Oh, fuck yes.
Which is a weird move, and he's just like, I love you. I love you so much.
Move, yeah.
Yeah, it didn't take a lot for him. And he is just, whoa.
Yeah.
Smitten. Fucking smitten. So she tells him Cecil's an evil man, very evil. See, he's abusive toward the children.
Oh.
He beats them, so he can't have custody of them. He's beating them. He's mean to them. And he's mean to Marlene, too. And on top of all that, he's an alcoholic. And he tries to keep the kids away from their mother, who loves them. Their nurturing mother. And you'd think that John Wayne would be like, whew, that sounds like a real relief for those kids to get away from their mother, for him. But no, he's upset about it. And he said, not only that, Cecil is turning the kids against the entire Sims family.
The whole fam?
Their grandma and grandpa are crying over this evil man.
He beats them, manipulates them so that the family hates them.
While he's shit-faced, mind you.
Wouldn't you call the cops?
No.
Not a mercenary?
No, you call him mercenary, Jimmy. It's Florida in 1984. You call him mercenary.
We need him to willingly stop all this.
You immediately look in Soldier of Fortune magazine for a solution to your problems. That's what you do. So John's sitting here melting. He's been kissed on the tip of the nose.
Can't stop thinking about it.
Oh, he's just rock hard. He can't stop dealing with it. There's a beautiful woman here, and she's in trouble now. He's got to rescue her. That's how he feels like.
Distress. Sure.
The way he's looking at it, she's begging for her nephews to be rescued away from this monster.
Yeah.
As a man, how could he deny her?
It's a great point. Yeah.
At the same time, he's got to get paid, though. This is a job.
There is that small.
But he wants to be the guy to do it. He said, I can do this for you. I am the guy for this job.
Yeah.
I want the don't call any more people out of Soldier of Fortune magazine. It's the buck stops here. Okay?
Throw that mag away.
That is, you don't need that anymore. So, and she said that I don't think she thought he was as like a real hardcore jungle killer like he says he is either at this point, because I mean she's kissing him on the nose and manipulating him. So
yeah,
at the same time she starts being very friendly with him, and we should talk on the phone and all this stuff. Somehow over the course of the happenings here, it goes from you need to scare him to, well, I mean, just kill him, I guess.
Oh, boy.
We should kill. Why would we just scare Cecil? While you're scaring him, you might as well just kill him. That way we don't ever have to deal with him again. Because, I mean, if you scare him, he might pop up a year from now being a dick again.
And also, I mean, the fear is fear of murder. So let's just skip the fear.
Let's just, skip the middleman and go right to murder. So he says he'd do it. It's going to cost $30,000, though.
Wow.
Which is a realistic number. That's how she knew he wasn't a cop. Because like we said, if they quote you a price and you can afford it, that's a cop. It's not a real hitman.
Get away from that. You're going to jail.
Murder is expensive. Good, well done murder, very expensive. And he said $30,000.
And in 1972, a brand new car was $5,000 to $8,000.
Yeah, if
you
that.
can't. You can't. This is several cars. Nobody
this
has.
is 84 though. This is 84.
Oh, this is 84. Okay,
yeah,
so you're still looking at 10, 12 grand.
You could buy a fucking house in some places.
This is $3 cars. This is 3 cars or a house.
This is not bad here. But Debbie talks him down. I didn't realize you could haggle over murder prices. She
this
fucking
man
talks
kills
him down
people.
like it's a flea market. Like she's at a yard sale, and he's like, I don't know. That lamp cord looks awfully frayed. How about $5 instead of $7? This isn't that.
Yeah, but when you're at the dealership haggling on a car, that guy doesn't also murder people.
That's what I mean. If you don't like the deal,
18?
you say,
how about 30, or I'll make you fucking disappear too.
Or you say, fuck you if you don't like the deal.
Yeah.
This guy is a mercenary. She talks him down. Not only talks him down, this isn't from 30 to 25. Yeah. From 30 to 10 is a big talk down.
She got 60% off?
$10,000 was the final price.
65% off.
No, here's the other thing. I don't know what Marlene and Debbie expected him, a man like this, to charge. You would expect it would be expensive. You wouldn't expect he'd be like, I don't know, $300 or something, like, so, but they didn't have $10,000.
Of course not.
Or 30. It's not like they talked them down to an amount they had. They didn't have 10 or 30. So
what if you do it for $10,000 that I don't have?
That I don't have, but they can get it. They can get it. Yeah. How do you, if you're two enterprising young women, how can you make $10,000 really fast?
Well, here's the thing, James. At $250 a month over 5 years, that's roughly $10,000.
Can we put together a payment plan?
Can we stretch this out?
Can we lay away Cecil's murder? Is that possible?
How do they do?
Kill now, pay later program? Do you have it all?
Did they offer $10,000 in blowies?
No.
Okay.
No, that would at least be fine. That's your body. Do what you want. No. In order to raise the funds, their enterprising idea here
lemonade stand
is to burn their grandmother's home to the ground and collect the insurance money.
Oh, my God.
To burn their grandma out of her home. That's their idea.
So in order to commission a murder, we're going to commission insurance fraud and make grandma homeless.
Arson. We're going to homelessize our grandma through arson in order to further You're deep at this point.
That's triple aggravators, isn't it?
This is a lot going on here. And this is what Debbie and Marlene are like, yeah, this is a good idea. We'll burn grandma's house. And they do it.
What?
They do it.
Wow.
And you know who they get to help them?
Who? The mercenary?
Frank and Iris, mom and dad.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
They go, yes, let's burn grandma's house to the ground. This is fine.
To pay for.
We'll burn grandma's house to pay to get Cecil out of the picture. It's worth it. We'll take grandma and it's fine. We got an extra bedroom.
Holy shit.
So the whole family's in on this scheme to kill Cecil. This
is very Florida.
It gets better. It gets more Florida because John and Debbie start having a huge affair. Just a real rip-roaring affair.
They call it, now it all makes sense. They call it Stark because these people are stark raving mad.
Stark raving fucking, it's short for stark raving lunatics is what it's short for.
It's insane.
It used to be called the Stark Raving Lunatic Asylum, and they dialed it back since the 1800s. John used to call his sexual experiences with Debbie, he'd call them each one a wild ride, he'd call it. She'd give me one hell of a wild ride, he'd say, boy.
Really?
And after every wild ride, Debbie would then use that opportunity. They're laying next to each other, enjoying their post-coital bliss. And Debbie would start saying, I'm just so worried about Marlene and what Cecil's going to do to her, and we really need to take care of that a lot.
That's on your mind? I got to pee before I get a UTI?
No, I just want the boys to be back home with their mother. And he's like, my dick is still wet. What are we talking about? Really? But
you're going to need cranberry juice if you don't get out of this bed.
In that state, though, a guy will agree to just about anything. We're like, yeah, totally, cool. Yeah, that's
Bring
good.
Me a hand towel, quick.
This is just gross. So January 6th, 1985. Okay. Cecil, who, by the way, doesn't beat up his boys or the family or do anything
of course
of nature.
Not.
He's known to drink sometimes. He's not known to be a severe alcoholic or anything like that. He's known to love his boys and be a decent guy, basically.
Loves his boys. He's fine. He likes to drink. Yeah.
He married a 15-year-old, so let's not
give him too much pass.
Let's wait. But murderable, maybe that's an exaggeration. You know what I mean? Here. So at this time, John Wayne, what he does is he slips onto the porch at January 6, 1985, slips onto the porch of Cecil's trailer. Okay? Because obviously he lives in a trailer.
Yeah.
And takes aim with his gun through the front window and shoots Cecil while he's sleeping on his couch.
Oh, that is far from mercenary.
That is not a mercenary killing.
That's the most chicken shit. What kind of bullshit?
He didn't even break in.
No.
He couldn't quietly break in, come and slit his throat fucking quickly. He bucked a shot off through the window.
Through a window.
This is why maybe he's not this, the experienced hitman that he might portray himself as here. So he shoots him through the window, kills him. He's dead.
Yeah. Wow.
Kills
good
Cecil.
shot at least.
Yeah. That's good for him. So the Gainesville, Florida detectives were positive that Marlene is behind the killing because they've been fighting so much here. And she collected $30,000 life insurance from his life insurance policy that he had here. So police also thought that maybe Marlene's family could be involved, but they could never get any evidence on they had no evidence.
Yeah.
Nothing. They questioned everybody. They all said, don't know what you're talking about. And so
got nothing else.
if you have four people in a conspiracy all saying we don't know what you're talking about, it's kind of hard to crack that.
Sure.
No physical evidence. What do you do? So nothing happens with it. It goes cold.
What?
Goes cold. So now let's talk about Joe Bannister, Debbie's husband, who's 42 at the time here. The affair continues between Debbie and John Wayne, obviously, even after Cecil's death. But now, after they're done with their wild rides, rather than complain about how Cecil needs to go,
oh, Joe,
Debbie starts to complain, oh, man, my husband's abusing me now.
Oh,
he's just started abusing me recently.
Okay.
Yeah, he's abusing me a lot, though. He just came from 20 years of no abuse to now he's just beating the shit out of me on a daily basis. Just always beating me up and yelling. And she talked about his obsessive, controlling nature and the brutal, diabolical treatment that he inflicted on those two young children that they have.
Sure.
It's just, this man is a horrible, horrible man. Terrible. And then she said, if only... I just wish he would go away because then we could be together.
Oh,
my goodness. And John said, really? We could be together? He said, well, you should get a divorce and we'll be together. And she said, yeah, but that Joe, he's a mean guy and he's going to take the children away from me. I know it. If we get divorced, he's going to take the children and he's going to beat them and do terrible things to them and, hang them up from a tree and beat them with broom handles, all the terrible, like a piñata, just an awful thing.
Cecil 2.0. Wait and see. Yeah.
Yeah, it happens. I don't know if the ghost of Cecil inhabited this man and now he's evil. I'm not sure how it works, John, but here, let me get up on top of you a minute. Does that make any sense now? It does now. So Debbie is the beneficiary of the life insurance policy and said, if we got rid of him, think about how perfect it would be. We could be together.
Right.
The kids wouldn't have to put up with this kind of abuse, and I'll be able to use the insurance money, and we can build our dream house together.
Oh.
And we'll just be happily ever after, walking hand in hand through a white picket fence.
I mean, dream house.
It's going to be beautiful. They even opened a joint checking account together.
Oh.
Debbie and John Wayne here. Isn't this sweet?
What's happening?
Well, you can't. This is so you won't have to pay for it because What are we going to do? Put it in my joint checking account with you? Come on. It's a freebie. I've been fucking you for a year. Give me a freebie here. So not even a year. It's a month later. So around February 2nd, around midnight, February 2nd, 1985, around midnight, a 911 call comes into the Bradford County Sheriff's Office.
Great.
Reporting a car crashed into a drainage ditch on a remote stretch of highway.
Oh, he doesn't do it the same way every time?
There's a car. Oh, no. Yeah. This is, he doesn't live in a trailer, Joe, so how do you get to it?
Oh, okay, yeah.
It's different.
His windows are a little better.
Yeah. He's got, doors and a foundation and shit. It's hard to... So the authorities converge on the scene, and they find Joe Bannister dead behind the wheel of his car.
Oh, wow.
Crashed into a drainage ditch. He's covered in blood.
Yeah.
It's a terrible scene. His vehicle, though, has minimal damage to it.
Oh.
They're like, wow, there's a dent up front, and he looks like he ran it off a cliff in an old movie, and it bounced off 6 rocks and exploded. This is wild.
Very, very soft impact for a man who just rattled around the inside of this car.
Everybody, I think medical examiner said he had weak skin. Any kind of jolting, all his blood comes out. It's just weak skin.
So real bleeder, this one.
It's weird stuff. So his vehicle did that. So the investigators were like, we don't think this crash is the cause of death. Let's grab an autopsy on this guy. It's not like he was in a burning heap of a pile. They had to get him out with the jaws of life. They just opened his door and was like, oh, hey, that doesn't look right. Yeah,
you are beat to shit.
You all right? They probably thought, oh, he's probably drunk in there. You know what I mean? And they're like, oh, no, never mind. So Deborah is notified of her husband's passing. Yeah. We found your husband, Joe, in a ditch in a car. Yeah. She broke down in tears, sobbing. She said, we spent the night out with friends before then we just drove home separately because we were coming from different places. So we took separate cars and we hung out with our friends and drove home separately. And I just don't understand it. I can't imagine. Joe, he drove. Oh, he's such a good driver. I mean, she was doing the whole deal.
Yeah.
So they said, yeah, that's okay. And she said, oh, I'll call the funeral home and we'll make arrangements. And they said, well, right now he's being taken to the county morgue to have an autopsy done. Uh-huh. And she said, oh, no, absolutely not.
Oh. So
no autopsy on my husband. No, you can't do an autopsy. Uh-huh. She said, quote, well, I'm not going to agree to an autopsy. That's her quote to the police officer.
Oh, well, now we're going to do two.
And, yeah, they were like, This is a Florida Highway Patrol Commander, Winston Barber, said, quote, I informed her that was not a decision she could make. It was a matter of procedure. Oh. You know, with a suspicious death and all.
Right.
We got to look into it. So the autopsy, not the autopsy, the autopsy, they open him up a little bit, and weird thing here, they were right. He didn't die from the car crash.
Really?
Not even from blunt force injuries or glass or anything. He died from 2 gunshot wounds.
2? Huh.
Wow, weird, right?
Really rare that, it's hard to put 2 in yourself.
It's hard to put 2. It's also very rare in a car accident for your car to crash and then your car to shoot you twice in the head. That doesn't happen very often.
That was a recall on the Edsel, though.
That and the Pinto too. That's what happened with the Pintos in the 70s.
Yeah.
We had to get those back in there.
Pinto would put it was called the Pin 2 because it would put 2 in your head.
Put 2 in you if you got hit from behind. That's what it was. And then it would blow up.
Yeah.
And they'd be like, he must have died from the explosion. They do an autopsy and they'd be like, 2 in the head again. Fuck this car.
These goddamn cars.
Why do they build them with bullets in it? I don't understand. Ford, why?
Somebody call Ford and tell them to stop putting the bullets in them.
Why? On the assembly line, must you? Well, that's somebody's job. I understand. You don't want to eliminate it. It's a union thing, maybe? I'm not sure.
That's why Jimmy Hoffa disappeared. He really wanted them to keep putting them.
That's what happened, man. Shit happens back then. Damn you, Detroit.
Yeah.
Detroit! The investigator here said one of them was a grazing-type wound to the back of the head. The second shot went through the brain and caused his immediate death.
Wow.
Yes. So this happened on February 2nd, 85, a deserted just county road out there. They said Joe, described as a quiet, well-liked, hardworking guy. They said that, what the hell happened here? So... Jesus Christ. But Debbie and John are like, hey, now we can be together forever.
Right.
Now we each have something on each other. This is terrific here. So February 5th, the Bradford County Sheriff's Office is contacted by investigators in a nearby county sheriff's office that were looking into the death of Cecil Beatty.
Sure. Obviously,
Marlene's husband. Now, he'd been murdered on January 6th, obviously, like we talked about. So at that point, they said, this is weird. This is the county sheriff's detective, Farnell Cole. Farnell, his name is.
Yeah.
He said, we had 2 sisters who within a period of weeks had their husbands murdered.
Weird.
That's weird. So that's enough of a coincidence that we immediately started to look at it as a single person being involved. Like, that's not usual. That's not normal. Were both your husbands in the mafia by any chance? No?
Brothers-in-law both murdered within weeks. Weird.
A month of each other, less than a month. So that also at Joe's funeral, Deborah is accompanied by John Wayne.
Is that right?
That's her date for her husband's funeral. She's not good at this murder stuff, I don't think.
She's not.
Don't go to the funeral with the guy you're fucking and who killed the guy. She told people, though, this is my long-lost cousin.
Oh.
The problem is, at your husband's funeral, you know who's there?
Who's that?
Your whole family, all your family, who goes, I don't fucking know this guy. Who is this guy?
How lost is he?
What? Well, yeah, none of us. I'm your mother, and I don't know who he is, so he's got to be pretty lost.
If he's lost, boy, I must be so lost.
Oof, I am in the weeds here. So that's what she told people. Everyone was like, all righty. So they bring her. The cops want to talk to her and just bring him in for an interview. Okay, so they bring him in for an interview. He said, my relationship with Deborah is strictly platonic, number one. And they said, well, where were you on February 2nd and January 5th?
Right.
And he said, I was with my mother in South Carolina on the night of Joe Bannister's murder. Are you kidding me? So, where else would I be but with my mother?
Obviously.
I'm a 40-year-old man. Obviously, I'm with my mother.
That's what I do, yeah.
So they go to South Carolina to talk to Mary, his mom, to see if this is true, and she backs up that alibi 100%. He was with me. They said, what do you know about this Deborah Sims Bannister lady? And she said, I've never heard of her. I don't know. I don't know who she is. I don't know who you're talking about. Yeah. And they went, okay, well, that's that. So, but while they have Mary, this is wild here, while they have the two of them in here, Farnell Cole, the investigator in the police department, while they're at the station, sees John Wayne's son in the station. John Wayne came with his son. Uh-huh. So they strike up a conversation. Hey, I'm Detective so-and-so, and I'm the kid, and we'll chit-chat a little bit here. Yeah. The cop says, mind if I show you a picture of somebody? Yeah. Real quick. Now, number one, you can't really question kids without their parents present for anything. Sure. I mean, but he's not a suspect. That's the thing.
Right. Yeah,
so this is more like
if he's ever seen this person.
Yeah, this is like canvassing is the way they look at it. Like if you went on the street, you could ask anybody, have you seen this person? Have you seen this person? They're not a suspect in any crime.
No.
So if he was a suspect, he'd have to have a parent with him, which if cops talk to my kids, I'd like to be there anyway, I think.
I don't want cops talking to my kids.
Not without me there to go, pep, pep, pep.
Yeah.
Like.
Maybe no.
Yeah, maybe no. So, and any cop would tell you they wouldn't let their kids talk to cops either because you just... they don't
that's
assist
not
them.
What happens, yeah.
You don't know. So shows a photograph of Deborah to the son.
Yeah.
Do you know this lady? And he said, oh, yeah, that's new mama.
New mama.
New mama.
That's what he's having him call her. Oh, my God.
Strictly platonic. Mom's never heard of her. New mama.
New mama.
Kid. Yeah. And said, oh, yeah, we recently all went to Disneyland together.
Oh.
They went on a fucking trip with the insurance money to fucking Disneyland.
Disney World.
No, land.
They went all the way to California? Oh, my God.
World is 2 hours away. He said land. I don't know if that's a misquote in its world or if they
Florida.
said... They said to the kid, guess what? We're going to Disney. And he was like, Disney World. And they went, no, we're going all the way to California today. Oh, my God, Disneyland. So very excited. Now, the Mary obviously was lying about her alibi and everything here.
Yeah.
She, though, didn't care for Debbie, though.
She doesn't like her. Yeah.
Doesn't like Debbie. The few times they spoke on the phone, they met once in person. Mary believed her to be a, quote...
Oh, boy.
Quote, low-rent whore. So she has two new nicknames. New Mama and Low-Rent Whore are her two nicknames here, according to the family.
Both are pretty solid.
Both are hilarious, I'll say that much. So an old lady, an old Southern woman, old South Carolina Southern woman calling you a low-rent whore is hilarious.
Or a fantastic compliment.
It's so funny. And then the kid going, new mama? That's hilarious. I'm sorry. This is all very funny. So, wow. Mary was even more pissed off or more mad at because she said that in her mind, John seemed to just do whatever Debbie wanted. Oh. Any demand, boom, he's on it. I need this, done. Kill my husband, no problem.
Jump how high, that shit.
Which, I mean, he has committed 2 murders for her, so yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you'll do a lot for a low-rent whore.
You do a lot for a good low-rent whore. So after that, could that be the title of the show? A low-rent whore? Is that the?
I don't think iTunes is allowing it.
I don't think so. Probably not. I don't think we're allowed to do that, but it should be. The title of the show for the rest of us is a low-rent whore, but only in a South Carolina old lady's accent. It's only funny if an old lady says it. So
yeah.
After all this happened, Joe's murder, investigators soon connected John and Debbie to the crime at this point. All of, there's electronic things, not email or anything back then, but phone records and things like that.
Things are lining up.
People see them and witnesses. So they come sniffing around Mary's house. Let's talk to Mary a little more, the mom. They think John's mom knows more than she's letting on.
Okay.
Since he's such a mama's boy and he lives at home all the time. And he's always home. So, wow. And also the fact that she had called to the cops, not only a low-rent whore, but had called her a white trash slut as well.
I mean, aren't those interchangeable?
I was going to say, they're kind of white trash, slut, low rent whore is what she called it. So
yeah, they're the same thing.
Yeah. So she figured, she didn't know that Joe had killed these people. She doesn't know his intricate shit like that. But she figured that if he did anything for the cops to be looking at, it was probably this one here, Debbie, who got him into the mess. So that's why she gave him an alibi. She said. But
how does she know about her sexual proclivities and her looseness of the...
Well, I think it's you had a man kill your husband so you could move in with him is probably what she was going on.
Did he tell his mother that she is doing fantastic things for me?
It's a wild ride. You got to see it, man. She says sultry voiced things to me and just... There's a lot of
for the murder.
It's fantastic.
Does he just get to snap his fingers and she'll do things like? Does he just like snap his fingers and then her lips are
like a code
firmly pressed around it?
I don't know. Maybe it seems like she would be the finger snapper. I think.
Yeah, maybe. Who knows?
It seems like he's just real happy to have her around.
Mama, watch.
and Mary keeps getting on John about her. Get rid of that fucking girl. What is wrong with you? Blah, blah, blah. John said, but I love her, Mom. I love her.
You don't understand.
More than any other woman I've ever been with. I love her. She's the one. More than any of my wives or girlfriend. Well, except for you, Mama, of course.
Is that what he said?
Yeah, obviously, except for you. So at the same time this is going on, John is finding out that Debbie really likes to spend a lot of money. She's a spender, boy.
Yeah.
That's why they're like, hey, Disney World's 2 hours away. And she's like, no, we need first-class tickets, all of us. It'll be 20 times more expensive to do it this way.
We're going to Anaheim for a much smaller version.
For one that's a third of the size, maybe. So he said that was a little disconcerting. He couldn't keep up with her spending.
Yeah.
She's going out and having like shopping sprees, and he'd come home and be like, holy shit. She would then nag him more and more about, we need to make more money, got to make more money. How come we don't have more money?
Yeah.
So he's like, Jesus, I'm killing fast as I can, sweetheart. Christ
I'm a
almighty.
mercenary.
Good Lord. I gotta wait for the calls to come in.
Yeah.
Enter another guy here. Okay.
Oh boy.
Robert Vanoy Black Jr.
Really?
Yes. Bob, he goes by. Bob Black Jr. Mm-hmm. Bob Black, born in 1947, so he's a couple years younger than John. I even have his social security number if you need it.
We
there.
don't need that. We're good.
Well, it really doesn't matter if you have it. We'll put it that way. No, it really wouldn't matter. I won't give it out.
This one today?
It's in a certain pile. So he lives in Bryan, Texas.
Oh, yeah.
Bryan, Texas.
Yeah.
And he responded to John's ad.
Oh.
In Soldier of Fortune. It's still running, by the way. He's just... I'd be like, I think this ad's got me in enough shit already. I'm going to... But I think you pay for like a year of it in advance.
He put this ad in for excitement. He's getting his money's worth.
You know what he is? He's getting pussy and murder, and he's getting fucking like interrogations and everything else. It's very exciting.
You bet.
Awfully goddamn exciting. So this ad, by the way, was a $40 ad it cost him to put in.
$40.
All this for $40. That's...
Wow.
There isn't a theme park in the country that'll give you this much excitement for $40, right?
There is nothing, no offer of adrenaline for $40 that will give you this much of it.
Six Flags ain't got shit on Soldier of Fortune magazine.
The adrenaline dump alone.
Oh, man. Now, Bob Black is later described in court documents as, quote, a frustrated faux Rambo who was a troubled Vietnam veteran as well as an Eagle Scout.
And he's been in an organization since this boy could walk.
Very organized. Well, let's find out.
Yeah.
He grew up in Haskell, Texas, and he's I guess everybody thought he was going to be something special when he was a kid.
Is that right?
Everybody. He was like one of the most promising people around here. Mm-hmm. Big in Boy Scouts at a young age. Sure. Rose to an Eagle Scout and even volunteered to serve as a den chief to the younger boys in the Cub Scout troop.
Is that right?
Oh, yeah. Won numerous honors in scouting as a young man, including the Eagle Scout. That's a thing. Mm-hmm. He played football. He ran track. I saw his grades, all A's and B's, by the way, in high school.
Yeah, of course.
All A's and B's, ran track, played football, played cornet in the school band.
He played the cornet?
He played in the band, played football, ran track, did well in school. Teachers giving him recommendations for college, and
wow,
just a shining beacon of hope here, this guy in a small
Texas
town.
Boy, yeah.
Doing great. In 1964, he was chosen by his teachers to represent the school at Boys State, which I guess was some like a trivia, not a trivia, like some learning bee. I don't know, some shit like that. One of those.
Geography bee or some trivia bee.
Yeah. Some shit, yeah, some knowledge bee, I guess you'd call it.
Just knowing general shit.
He decides to go to Texas A&M University. So he's going to go to school. He's going to do his thing. Yeah. He studies chemical engineering at Texas A&M.
He has a bright future.
Chemical engineer. I wouldn't even know where to start with that. No. Like, I could never think to be a chemical engineer in a million years. But 2 years into Texas A&M in his chemical engineering, he drops out. Why, you ask?
Because he has a bigger calling.
Well, to join the Marines. Yeah. To go to Vietnam.
Yeah. There's a conflict.
He's Charlie Sheen in Platoon is what he is.
He wants to fix this. He wants to be a part of it.
And that's what Charlie Sheen did back in that in Platoon. His character drops out of college because he didn't think for him, he said it wasn't fair. The kids who couldn't afford college had to come here, and he did, and that was a whole thing. Whereas for him, it's different. For him, it's because his father was in World War II and volunteered out of sense of patriotism. So Bob thought that maybe I could do the same thing. Yeah, that's what you do. So Bob, he wanted to fly with the Air Force. Okay. That was what he was going to do. He wanted to be a pilot.
Classes, huh?
No, not even. He said later on that he ended up joining the Marines instead because the recruiter, the Air Force recruiter, was, quote, outmatched by the Marine recruiter. He said he was outmatched by a, quote, patriotic and rousing appeal from the Marine Corps recruiter. Huh. We're more patriotic than they are. Yeah. That's what they said. So he was like, I got to do it.
They got cooler nicknames. That's what it is.
That's all it is. Yeah. So he decides to do this and to volunteer for service at the height of the Vietnam War, too, by the way. I mean, this is like 1968 we're talking about.
The most body bags coming back.
Oh, tons. Yeah. His family... His dad wasn't like, oh, I'm so proud of you. He said, what the fuck are you talking about?
This is an entirely different war, son.
I did that so you could do that, not
so
this.
You don't have to.
Don't do that.
Go engineer chemicals and shit.
And this is every night is just caskets on the news coming home. I mean, this is a lot. You're seeing that going, I don't want my fucking kid going there. A lot of people did. It was, even if they were pro-war, they still were terrified of their kids.
Even the ones that came back that were breathing and walking and standing were getting shit thrown at them and spit on, and it was not a popular thing. It was terrible.
So he ended up receiving the Blues Award for being the distinguished Marine in his platoon.
Oh.
Yeah, and he flew on over 100 combat missions in Vietnam.
100?
100, yeah. And this is all, I have the documents, I've seen his commendations. This is real. This is all real. Not like this isn't a bullshit Haitian coup. This is actually what he did.
He's a really good soldier.
Yep. When he was in 67, during a leave from boot camp, when he first signed up, he married Sandra K. Iman. And so Sandra, he met her at an ROTC dance in Bryan, Texas.
Adorable.
Just like mom and dad probably met at the USO dance there. So over the next 3 years, they moved around a lot because he was stationed in different places. California, Virginia, Florida, Georgia, Hawaii, all over the place. Bob received various combat training assignments all over the place where he was now training people for other shit. They have one child, Gary Wayne Black, and he's born in 1969, October 7th, 1969. So among these things here, though, Bob has he's got some issues from Vietnam.
Sure.
That are documented by several stints in facilities here. Among one incident that remained with him was one particular bombing mission, which he recalled in exact detail to a psychiatrist later on, in which the squadron was to bomb targets of opportunity, quote unquote. That meant anything you see.
Right.
So as he explained it, as Black explained it, this meant they could bomb anything that looked at all like a military target. He said on this occasion they dropped their bombs on several small boats in a river, not knowing whether the boats were used by the enemy to transport munitions or were just fishing boats used by civilians.
Right.
He said that the mission later on his recall, quote, it was clear that it deeply, this is what a psychiatrist said, it was clear that it deeply bothered Bob and that we were rather indiscriminately dropping thousands of pounds of bombs that on what were indefinite targets, in Bob's opinion.
Yeah.
So another incident, Black blamed himself for this incident, in which 2 planes in the squadron ran out of fuel and flamed out short of the runway.
Oh, shit.
He said, although there were no fatalities, Black recalled that, quote, in particular, he faulted himself for the accident and the near loss of life on the grounds that it had been primarily his responsibility to locate the airstrip for a safe landing. He said, it took me too long and they ran out of fuel. So they said that Bob, the psychiatrist, said that they were impressed by the very strong impact that the event left on Bob that was still evident even more than a decade later. He was still talking about this. They said all sorts of different things. After his discharge from the service, he returned to Bryan, Texas, where he kind of worked a few jobs here and there. He worked at an electrical company, and people said that he was a good worker, a good electrician.
Yeah.
They liked him, but still he would go through long periods of unemployment.
Okay.
He's got some problems in his head here.
Yeah, and chief among them is nobody even got hurt.
No, but it fucked him up. It fucked him up. So while he was employed, he said he found difficulty sustaining interest and enthusiasm for his work. Well, I've never had a job besides this one in comedy that I've been enthusiastic or interested in. So join the club.
Yeah.
He said he never encountered that before. He'd always been interested in everything.
Really?
He said the difficulties he had maintaining employment spilled over into his marriage, and Sandra had to, at that point, start shouldering the financial burdens of the family, making sure she had a job and an income. His behavior and moods became erratic. He was often very irritable. He fell into long periods of depression. His self-image deteriorated. He started to drink more and more heavily. They said he's just a mess. At one point, he was described that this is not the same aspiring, industrious, and successful young man who left Haskell looking forward to the promise of the life before him.
This is a middle-aged man who has experienced life.
He's and bad parts of life too. That
right,
most
that's
people
what
don't
I mean.
have to experience. Yeah,
my point is he's experienced life, which sucks, and now he's handling it not great because he's not prepared for this.
Totally, he's not. He's not prepared for it at all. There's no transition period. So there's also testimony later that he had been involved with the Boy Scouts with his son and had been helpful to a friend of his son who suffered from physical and emotional issues.
Wow.
And so he would help that kid out. By April of 76, Bob's symptoms, though, drive him to check into the Veterans Administration Hospital in Houston, Texas.
Yeah.
It's too much. He advised hospital administrators that he had come to the hospital because he felt that he needed help, quote unquote. He said that he was suffering a nervous breakdown, but he suffered a nervous breakdown a couple months before, but didn't receive treatment at that time. He said at this time he was asking for help with anger, control, and depression.
Wow.
Yep. His self-admission to the VA was his first kind of public cry for help, that saying he actually needs help. At the time, he reported marital, financial, and employment problems. That's all three. That's everything.
That's the ones.
According to that, he came to Houston, according to the records, because Sandra, from whom he was estranged at the time, they had split up at this time, she was in Houston, and Bob had tried to talk her into some reconciliation of some kind. But she didn't want to, so then he went to a hospital instead because he couldn't take it. He recognized his problems in the marriage. He said, candidly acknowledging that he sometimes felt sudden, uncontrollable, and inexplicable outbursts that were often directed toward his wife. Now, according to the hospital here, the outbursts were as bewildering to Bob as they were to his family and friends. He didn't understand why it was happening either, he said. So he's unemployed at this time. He told doctors he's had a series of employment periods since his release from the military and said that, quote, his only training is of a bombardier and there's no demand for them now.
Yeah.
I know how to drop bombs on shit, and that's not a real big
Right.
In Texas in 1983, there's a 1976, there's not a real big demand for that. So he was admitted for observation and treatment and remained there for 4.5 months.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's incredible because in the Boy Scouts, the motto is be prepared. And they prepare you to survive if you don't have anything, but they don't prepare you how to survive when all of that training goes wrong.
How to figure all that out just afterwards, how to be a person. There's no person training course afterwards. So he is diagnosed as suffering from explosive behavior disorder.
Oh.
And was placed on psychotropic medications. Now, as they'll explain here in the footnotes of his paperwork, Dr. John Wilson explained that the first time information about PTSD became available was December 1979. So this is 3 years before that was a diagnosis. And the diagnosis was first listed by the American Psychiatric Association in the diagnostic and the fucking DSM, the book for all that, the 3rd edition in February 1980. That's the first time it's listed in there.
Wow.
Yeah. So they said prior to 1980, psychologists and psychiatrists were not making diagnosis of disorders as PTSD. A diagnosis of personality disorder and explosive behavior was the common one that they would use for the person who had this disorder.
Okay.
So that's what they're saying he has, but they didn't have a name for it yet. The problems are, this is his doctor's actual report, and I'll read it. Quote, the 29-year-old male stated that this was his first VA hospital Houston admission. He said that he came to the hospital at this time because he felt he needed help. He said he had a nervous breakdown in November 1975 but did not receive any treatments. He came to Houston to try to talk to his estranged wife and talk to her into reconciliation. The patient stated that for some reason, all of a sudden he goes into a rage and at many times has been very abusive to his wife. Most recently, he went into the house, got his gun, and came out and killed the dog.
What? Bob shot his own dog?
Just shot his own dog because he was so angry he didn't know what to do.
Oh,
so
boy.
At that time, his wife threatened to leave him permanently unless he received some help. He came to the hospital for help. On admission to the unit, the patient's physical examination was in the realm of normal variation. His lab work and x-rays did not reveal any significant abnormalities. He's placed on medication consisting of Haldol, 1 milligram. Haldol's strong.
Strong shit, yeah.
4 times a day. RB with C once a day. I don't know what that is. All of his physical complaints were taken care of by the necessary services and treated empirically. On 6/29/76, the Haldol was discontinued, and he was started on loxapine at 10 milligrams twice a day. After a period of time, he decided that he didn't need any kind of medication, only vitamin E.
What?
I don't know. His medication was discontinued. That's D is the sun.
Oh.
I don't know what the fuck E is. I'm not
lanolin?
Sure. I have no clue.
Oh, I need some lanolin. I'm going to be all right.
I'll be all right. Don't you worry about it.
I think vitamin E comes from just Vaseline lotion. Don't they have?
I don't know. I have no clue what vitamin E is.
It's topical. I know you can do that.
Maybe.
Yeah.
They said he did well without any medication. He went on pass one time and came back very late. This was an authorized absence. The patient did not create any disturbance and was placed in activities and participated sparingly and superficially. It was at this time the patient asked for a discharge. It was felt that he had reached maximum benefits and was given a regular discharge. At the time of his release from the hospital, he was considered to be competent.
Okay.
So he makes progress there. So he still has problems, though, for a few years after this. So on and off after this, Bob has some problems here and there.
Yeah.
And they build back up again. By June 1983, he's checking himself back in a hospital.
Jesus.
And the report is that he has unusual and violent behavior. Quote, Sandy describes Bob as having several extramarital affairs throughout their relationship.
Oh.
Jesus, Bob. She says he sees himself as a stud, quote unquote.
Okay.
That's in the doctor's report. And much of the time, she does not desire him sexually.
Huh.
They have one son, Gary Wayne, who's 13 at the time, who was born while Bob was in the service. Sandy is worried about Gary having seen Bob's violent behavior on many occasions. Recently, Bob has placed a lot of pressure on Gary with the Boy Scouts, and she has observed their son's grades improving when Bob is not living with them.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, Sandy describes Bob as being physically violent with Gary on 2 occasions, once when he was 3 years old and once about a year ago when Bob beat him with a switch.
Okay.
So he's sent to the Greenleaf Psychiatric Hospital, where he's admitted for full psychological and medical evaluation here. They describe him as a 36-year-old white male who was in the office with complaints of depression, explosive personality behavior, and a past history of diagnosis of paranoid schizophrenia issued at the VA hospital several years ago. That wasn't in the reports I saw, but maybe he went back and I didn't see that.
Rakuten is the smartest way to save money when you shop because you earn cash back at over 3,500 stores. Fashion, beauty, electronics, home essentials, travel, dining, concert tickets, and more. Your favorite stores like Lowe's, Levi's, and Nike pay Rakuten to send them shoppers, and Rakuten then passes on a part of that payment to its members as cash back. You're already shopping at your favorite stores. Why not save while you're doing it? It's a no-brainer. Membership is free and easy to sign up. Get the Rakuten app now and join the 17 million members who are already saving. Cashback rates change daily. See Rakuten.com for details. That's Rakuten. Your cash back really adds up.
Escape reality and immerse yourself in a gripping tale of mystery, murder, and romance with June's Journey. Join June as she unravels the truth behind her sister's mysterious death and use your observation skills to find hidden clues and uncover dark secrets. Plus, you get to explore stunning hidden object scenes, from New York parlors to Parisian sidewalks, as each chapter reveals captivating mysteries. How sharp are your observation skills? Put them to the test in June's Journey. Download for free today on iOS and Android.
History was obtained in the office that the patient's been having a difficult time in his marriage, becoming irritable and outburstive. Outburstive is a word?
Never heard of that before.
Never heard that. It's in the document. Outburstive at home, as well as having generalized job dissatisfaction. He indicates that he started having depressive symptoms while he was a naval flight officer in Vietnam. During the course of his subsequent 1-week hospitalization, he's only in for a week this time, they talk about his history, and they did an interview with Sandy. And it says, quote, Sandy said Bob had begun talking about Vietnam flashbacks since the middle of May, after visiting a pilot whom he had been with in Vietnam. Mrs. Black believes that her husband's emotional problems began shortly after his discharge from the Marine Corps in 1973 and after serving in Vietnam as a flyer. Bob was unemployed for 5 years after the Marine Corps, and Sandy describes him as being jealous and unable to handle stress. Bob's work history has been very erratic. Sandy's complaints is his lack of motivation toward work. During the last 5 years, he's held 4 jobs, and the most recent one was at the post office for 1 year. And they talk about how he excelled and everything like that. Mrs. Black reports that Bob never talked about his experiences in the war until after they saw the movie The Deer Hunter.
Oh, really?
With Robert De Niro and Christopher Walken and lots of people in it. He then told her a story about seeing one of his best buddies being killed, describing some of the horror of war, and then asking her never to bring it up again.
Okay.
So he's trying to share something with his wife, but then said, but please don't bring that up.
Let's never talk about this ever again. Yeah.
Which is, I mean, I guess you're trying. I don't know what that's like. So, you know, I can't get inside his head. But they said he is suffering from major affective disorder, atypical depression, and PTSD at this point, as they finally do. Following a week of treatment and counseling, there's sufficient progress where that he can be treated on an outpatient basis, they say. And, later on that Sandra reported a decrease in his explosive behavior. Overall, the evaluation of him is Bob's level of intellectual functioning was in the superior range overall, with a clear preference for performance tasks over verbal ones. No indication of organic dysfunction was noted. Instability in a number of areas, including interpersonal relationships, mood and self-image. Personal relationships for Bob tend to be rather intense, situation-specific, and unstable. Mood can change within a matter of moments and can shift from extremely dysphoric to elated. On numerous occasions, this shift was noted throughout the assessment period. This makes sense here. So, post-release follow-ups. Here's one. 8/8/83. Met with Sandra today. Things have been going well up until last week when he started working a double shift and became exceedingly exhausted, resulting in exacerbation of his irritability and moodiness. Anybody working a double shift is irritable and moody.
It's going to be a madman.
It's weird. He comes home after 16 hours of work and he's a little pissy. Strange. Jesus.
Tired, eyes barely open, but his mouth just will not stop calling me names.
Christ. They said, we discussed his obsessive need to work and how he cuts himself off from other things that are good for him. Generally, I think things are going well, and his current medication dosage is appropriate. 2 weeks later, met with him again. Things are going generally well from a depression standpoint, no major disruption, nothing like that. Then, October 5th, 83, quote, Bob's wife came in stating Bob had gotten angry with her and was planning to leave once again. He apparently is still taking the lithium, but has not yet gotten a blood count level. She also brought the son with Bob's understanding and knowledge, and I sat with both of them trying to explain a little bit about what was going on. I asked her to get Bob to get to the lithium level, and they will be calling me with results. Okay.
Oh, boy.
So they end up increasing his lithium as the result here. His son, Gary, would later on say, quote, my father never really talked to me about his experiences in Vietnam during the time. It was understood in my family, you just didn't bring it up. For example, if I brought a videotape about Vietnam home to watch, like Rambo, my father would get up and leave the room. He would do the same thing if a television program about Vietnam would come on. It was clear he didn't want to talk about it. And then he also talks about the deer hunter thing. So,
oh boy.
By 1984, he's working sporadically in and out of these, mental evaluations, and he likes to hang out with like biker gang guys on the weekend.
At the VA or just random
around
ass
Bryan,
bad men? Yeah,
around Bryan, Texas. He likes to hang out with
boy.
biker friends that are kind of outlaw biker guys. And he treasured, one of his real treasures is a collection of photos showing biker chicks pulling up their shirts to show their tits.
Listen.
He collects pictures of tits. I mean, that's the most normal thing about him so far.
In 1984, this is what everybody did.
Yeah. These are all my tit pictures. This is my jerk bank I got to save up for later.
My uncle's garage was lined with them on the walls.
Garages. Fuck yeah. So now, like John Wayne Hearn, Bob Black fantasized about, getting into some covert military action.
Sure.
That's the only time he felt alive, goddammit. Some gun running, some toppling of an evil dictator or two. You know what I mean? Some life. He wants to live, goddammit.
Right.
He said, but nothing ever really came up. He had been calling Hearn and wanting to get in on whatever action Hearn was doing, which, as we know, wasn't very much. It was, shooting a guy through a trailer window. So Bob Black became acquainted with John Wayne Hearn when Black answered his advertisement from Soldier of Fortune magazine, of course. John Wayne, who was he claimed to be involved in a group that was gathering weapons to send to the Nicaraguan Contras.
Oh.
Iran-Contra, Oliver North, Reagan hearings.
He's involved in this.
Heavily involved. Meanwhile, CIA, everything that the CIA does, he's saying he did.
Right.
So that's weird. He eventually became interested, though, in purchasing Bob Black's gun collection. That's what he wanted to do. Bob wanted to sell it, and this guy wanted to buy it. So John Wayne meets Bob Black in Texas in early 1985 to talk about purchasing guns. That's all it's about at this point. In the course of their meeting, this is fucking funny. They talk about all this. Black tells Hearn that, Christ, I got to sell the guns because I need the money. Right. I got to have the money. He said, I'd have all the money I needed if I didn't have this goddamn wife over here.
Yeah, she's a pain in the ass.
Yeah, so, you know how that goes. And then he described to John Wayne Hearn a plot that he had concocted to kill his wife, Sandy, in which he and a friend would force a speeding car containing Sandy into a bridge embankment.
Those are a trope of a hard place. That'll do it generally, yeah.
That'll do it, yeah. What's solid? A bridge embankment. Can't take down a bridge. Let's do that.
Everybody says that's where they're going to put their car if she doesn't shut the fuck up.
But the gun deal ends up falling through somehow, and Hearn goes back to Florida. John Wayne goes back. But that doesn't stop Bob from wanting his wife dead, obviously.
Yeah.
Just because he leaves. So Bob tells John, listen, I need you to murder my wife, Sandy, okay?
I'm only capable of dogs.
dogs and, possibly Vietnamese civilians, but not
as high up as it gets. Yeah.
So he definitely not a woman I know here. So he said, John said, why do you need it that bad? Is it that big of an insurance policy? He said, well, I also would like to be with my young girlfriend.
Oh.
I have a girlfriend who's a lot younger than me. More on her later, by the way. More on her coming up because, wow, is that fucking very Florida also, even though this is in Texas.
Yeah.
So, well, you know what? Fuck it. I'll just spoil it now.
Right.
His young girlfriend is also Bob's first cousin.
Bob.
Not third cousin, not fourth cousin, not second, 3 times removed. First cousin as in my mom's sister's girl.
Right.
Fucking my dad's brother's boy.
Right. My mom's brother's kid. Either way, Bob, you can't do that. It's illegal and causes major problems.
Either way, you've sat next to this person at Thanksgiving for countless years. This is ridiculous. So John is offered $10,000 from the proceeds of Sandra's life insurance policies to do this. By the way, the cousin doesn't even live in Texas. She lives in California.
Does she know that he's interested in her?
Oh, they have had a long distance but, quote, very steamy love affair, complete with explicit home photos and home videos to prove it.
Oh, God.
Oh, yeah, they've hooked up. So $10,000 is the agreed upon price here. Wow. It's at this point, during all of this, that John Wayne's relationship with Debbie is starting to fall apart because he doesn't have enough money and, all of that kind of shit. And also, the cops are starting to put 2 and 2 together with his shit in Florida. So
sure, yeah.
Now, Sandra, Bob's wife, Sandra Black, worked with her mother, Marjorie, every day in their home daycare business.
Oh.
Okay. Now, they were very close, and Marjorie was also very well aware of the marital problems. When you have a daycare, you can talk about your marital problems because 1-year-olds don't pay attention or care.
Right. They can't. They don't know what the fuck you're saying.
They couldn't care less. Right. Yeah, the Wiggles are on. They don't give a shit.
Right.
So it was I'm trying to think back then. Was there the Wiggles in the 80s? No, that's the 90s.
Oh, it was Pee Wee
2000s.
Herman, right? It was
not even
Sesame
yet.
Street. It was Cat
Sesame
and Kangaroo.
Street. There you go. Sesame
and
Street.
Fucking Lamb Chop.
Sesame Street's on.
Yeah.
Boom. So it's a lot going on here. He said, it was also, Sandra was telling her mom it would happen so fast when we were kids, and now it's been this long, and it happens. So Sandra's mother, Marjorie, thought that her daughter, she thought he was a good man when he was going in the military. He was a chemical engineering student. She thought it was a good deal. But a few years into this, Bob began having trouble holding on to a job, and Sandra would go to her mom and say, Bob's cheating on me, and now the mother-in-law doesn't like him so much, obviously. So Sandra ends up finding out about his affair with his first cousin.
That's the last straw, right?
It's got to be hard enough to explain an affair to your wife anyway.
Yeah.
But then to be like, it's my first cousin? Like, talk about all the moral high ground in the world to complain to you if this was. She has, you cheated on me and you're fucking gross at the same time. And you're a hillbilly. Perfect.
I've been fucking someone who shares DNA with me.
Teresa Hetherington is her name. She's not getting out of this scot-free. So
no,
Teresa Hetherington is the cousin here. She ends up, Sandra is files for and is granted a divorce, but Bob talks his way back into it.
Oh.
After this. So Sandra, though, is unaware that Bob is still seeing his cousin, even though he said he wasn't anymore. And at the same time, he's also plotting to murder her for her life insurance.
Right.
So, yeah. Now, Bob has a real problem. He can't find anyone before he talks to John Wayne to kill his wife. And he's asked a lot of people, by the way. He's really
shopping.
asked around.
Yeah,
he's shopped. He's asked several of his friends around town to kill his wife, but none of them would. None of them reported it to the police or told Sandra about it. They all thought it was just Bob being a blowhard.
Bob's saying that shit about killing his wife again, you guys.
Oh, Christ. He made an attempt to kill her himself in January 85, but it didn't work out.
Well, okay. Do we know how he did it?
So we'll find out here. He said he never really explained why he wanted her dead to his friends, but it was clear that he really didn't want to get a divorce. He wanted her fucking dead.
Yeah.
Because all the friends said, why don't you just get a divorce, man? And he was like, I can't. Okay. I did.
She's got to die. We said till death.
Holy shit. And then because he's obsessed with his cousin. So anyway, she, I guess, Right before, a little while earlier, Sandra's mother, Marjorie, said that Bob had thrown Sandra through a screen door during an argument.
Oh, my.
Okay, so plans to kill Sandra. All right, fall of 1984, Bob asked a man to choke his wife to knock her out, pin her underneath a motorcycle in a garage, then burn down the garage.
Is she? What is that?
I don't know what the motorcycle or the choke or any of that has to do with anything.
Is she a common motorcycle mechanic? Is that a thing she does all day that maybe
passes out under?
Maybe it would fall on her neck.
That's what I thought he was going to say. Yeah. No, then burn down the garage.
The motorcycle fell on her and got her caught by the neck, and then the garage spontaneously combusted.
Fuck. Black said his alibi would be that he and his son would be away jumping on a trampoline.
Okay.
Jumping for joy.
It's our trampoline day.
That guy said, I don't think so. That sounds crazy. A little while later, about a month later, he approached the same man again.
Really?
Listen, I already told you I'm not killing your goddamn wife, but no, again, this time he said, okay, I got a better idea. All right, check it out. I want you to steal a truck, and while my wife's riding her motorcycle, run her over with the truck.
She's got one. Yeah, okay.
She's got a motorcycle, yeah. Run her over with the truck.
Blast her.
Just destroy her. Just splatter her all over the front of a truck. And he said, I don't think so. I'm not going to do that either.
Yeah.
So he then talks to other people, a guy named David. There's David and Mark Huber. Mark Huber's the first guy he asked to do this. It said no. So then he talks to Mark's brother, David. Maybe he wants to kill my wife. He suggested Jesus Christ. Bob Black suggested, David, maybe you'd like to help me burn my wife to death, he says.
Have you got a flamethrower?
Yes. And then he said to him, what if you steal a truck and run her over on her motorcycle? See, he's got recycled ideas that he's giving out now. The guy said, no, that won't do. What if she survives it? And he said, okay, that's fair. What if you hit her on the head with a baseball bat and dump her over a bridge?
Oh.
And he goes, no. Well, why would she be near the bridge then? I'd have to get her near a bridge at that point. Otherwise, it would show that we dragged her there. And he said, okay. I get it. You're smart. You're good at this. You're good at this.
So many good points.
What if you fake a rape robbery?
Oh.
What if you rape and rob my wife and then kill her with one of my guns? What about that? Would that work for you?
Yeah.
And the guy said, I got a lot of stuff to do. He's checking his watch. I'm going to go ahead and I got a thing with the kids.
Yeah, got to feed the hogs.
Boy, I got to be to work early in the morning. And I know it's Sunday. I'm a preacher. I got to go. So he also discussed killing Sandra with a guy named Gordon Matheson as well. And Matheson said that Bob hated Sandra and was obsessed with his cousin Teresa, and that Bob asked him to assist in killing Sandra by driving a car into Sandra. He said that he would assist killing Sandra by driving a car into which Black would crawl after guiding Sandra's car into a bridge embankment. So he would pretend he was in the car too.
Okay.
Like, we got in an accident, but she died and I'm fine.
Because he'd crawl into another car?
Crawl into that car like he was there in the car.
Okay.
We got run off the road.
Right.
Oh, no, my wife's dead. So he offered both David Huber and Matheson monetary rewards for this, obviously, here. And the guy thought it was just funny. He thought he was funny. He thought, this is crazy. It's just
none of these work.
Yeah, then, he said he stopped being friends with him because he kept bringing up killing his wife constantly.
That's a friendship killer.
Yeah, Mark Huber, the brother of David, said that, he had received $500 as a down payment back in 1982 to kill his wife. He's been talking about killing his wife since 82, but they never carried out the plan. At that time, Bob discussed shooting Sandra, running her over with a truck, or dumping her in an abandoned well and covering it with cement.
He has wanted her dead for 2 years.
At least, yeah. Then there's another one he had. One plan, his first plan, this is what he was going to do, was called the El Camino plan.
Yeah.
It involves an El Camino, shockingly enough. He was going to hit her on the head, knock her out, then put her body in the back of his El Camino. If you don't know what an El Camino was, in the 70s they made a car, 60s and 70s, that was half car, half truck. Picture a car with a truck bed in it, and that's what you had. So...
And when Picture it the ugliest way possible.
Oh,
that's what it was.
Absolutely hideous.
Hideous car.
A punchline for many
very
years
popular
to come.
now.
Now, of course, because they're hideous, so they're popular now. Yeah, that's
because they're dumb.
Everything. Vans are popular, even though that we decided, hey, that's the too molesty.
Yeah.
We don't like those.
It's
not
gross.
popular.
Yeah.
So they planned to take her body in the El Camino. The plan was his plan, not their plan. Take the car out on a freeway bypass road near Bryan, Texas, put it on cruise control, jump into another vehicle just before the El Camino. He's going to
Bruce Willis this shit.
He's going to dive out of the door as it flies off a bridge.
Like he's going to do. Keanu Reeves in Speed.
Yeah, that was a plan. Wow, that is fucking amazing. So then he found, though, John Wayne Hearn in the ad, and he was like, this is a guy, high-risk assignments. Let's get this fucking done here.
Yeah.
Anyway, he offers... Bob says, I know you got to go back to Florida, John Wayne Hearn, but I'll offer my services in anything. Weapons, things, anything you need. I'm here for you.
Okay.
So, Debbie learns about this possibility of a job in Texas to kill the wife for $10,000, and Debbie's like, fucking do it, John. What's wrong with you? I need money.
I got a Birkin bag I want.
Yeah, so by the way, it was after this offer that she said, cancel that answering service. I'll just answer the Soldier of Fortune calls.
And I will tell you what ones we're going to do.
Yeah, I'll do that. And that way, she had the opportunity to speak to Bob herself. From that point on, she would beg John to kill just one more time. If you do it, you can take care of all of our bills, and we can go on vacation, and life will be great after that. We'll be together forever. It's going to be wonderful.
And then next month.
And then 2 months from now, what do we do? Yeah, they're like crackheads. They're like love crackheads.
Murder crackheads.
Yeah, John said that, investigators have been talking about stuff and, he's kind of scared. But Debbie kept insisting, saying the police can never connect you to a crime. It's not even in Florida, stupid. You don't know that guy. It's not like you hang out with him all the time. Go there, kill her, come home, it's over with, right? So Hearn and Black talked about this. And although the weapons sale fell through, they agreed that Black would pay Hearn $10,000 plus expenses, of course, traveling,
Yeah.
Keep your receipts, though, from Shoney's because...
Sometimes it's a travel lodge.
It's, $10,000 plus expenses, and they were going to kill Sandra with her own gun inside Bob Black's home.
Wow.
That's how they're going to do this. Okay. Now, February 21st, 1985, Sandra leaves her mom's house. She's at her mom's house, heads home. When she walked out of the house, she walked into the house, and, nobody's supposed to be there. She walks in. A man steps out of the shadows.
Oh.
Is already in her house. Turns out the day before, Hearn had traveled there, and he and Black ransacked the house to make it appear as like a burglary occurred, stole jewelry, shit like that. Then Black, Bob, and his son Gary ran errands while Hearn lurked waiting for Sandra to come to the house.
Right.
They said, quote, Hearn waited 5, 6, 7 minutes, maybe more, trying to sit here, trying to wait. She came in. He shot her multiple times. One shot is right between the eyes.
Whoa.
Shoots her the first time. She falls down. She's gasping for air. He shoots her between the eyes and ends it. She didn't even know what was going on. She just saw a figure and was like, what the hell? And then she was shot. I mean, it was that quick.
Oh, boy.
So a short while later, Bob and his son came home. And by the way, his son had been sick in bed, but Bob insisted that he come out with him to run errands. Because that's part of the plan.
It'll help you get better.
And Gary's the one who finds his mother. Poor 15-year-old Gary is the one who finds his mother in the kitchen. Because, Bob couldn't find it because that'd be suspicious. Gary has to find it. Now it's, So the pictures are horrible. The author of this book later on says, quote, the first time I saw these pictures, I felt sick. Not nauseous, but sick about what kind of world this is. It really affected me. The book, by the way, is called The Soldier of Fortune Murders, a true story of obsessive love and murder for hire by Ben Green. I don't really like the book.
No.
I'm going to be honest here. This is the writing, okay? I'll give you a quote from the book. Cecil Beatty was still asleep on the couch, but he had pulled the blanket completely over his face. That made it easier. Hearn didn't have to look at him. He stood over him, staring down, and now the choice was clear, his options certain. If I don't do it, I can't have Debbie. If I don't do it, I can't have Debbie. It was a chant, a catechism drumming in his head. How the fuck do you know that? That kind of stuff annoys me. But he also, fucking goes on to really describe, listen to the murder. This is Cecil's murder. He squeezed the trigger. The explosion thundered across Beatty Hill, echoing off the Cracker Box houses and the metal sides of the, what is that? Oh, the Sims's trailer, right across the street. The first shot blew a perfect hole in the plate glass, sending hundreds of tiny shards of glass rocketing into the blanket, just ahead of the pellets of number 2 birdshot that slammed into Cecil Beatty's face.
Wow.
So there you go. Now, will they get away with it? Let's find out. Hearn, John Wayne, after he does all this, does the murder of Sandra here, kills her, he flees the scene in her van. And left it in a grocery store parking lot after picking up his rental car and heading to Houston, where he catches a plane home.
Brilliant.
Now, for a down payment, Bob had given John Wayne some of Sandra's jewelry, which is a weird down payment. Very traceable things that could get you busted. Here you go. Right. Have that as down payment. So finally, it all comes together here. While John Wayne's taking care of this in Texas, police in Florida are really working on him for those murders. Detectives had discovered that John had attended the funeral of Debbie's husband, which was suspicious, and had even taken photographs of them together, standing next to the casket before it was lowered into the ground. Look what we did. Isn't this nice? So soon after the Sandra Black killing, Debbie fucking broke up with John because the cops were getting too close and she didn't want to be with him.
Okay.
So, but it doesn't matter because police have telephone records of calls between John's Florida hotel and Debbie's room from the Times, and then from Texas to back, and it's obvious they knew each other. Mm-hmm. Also, Bob Black is pretty fucked here because the murder for hire plan is undercut by the fact that he already tried to get 5 fucking people to do it, so a bunch of people know about it. So when his wife actually is murdered, those people go, I know a guy who wanted to do that. Not to mention 8 days before the murder, 8 days, Bob had taken out $100,000 insurance policy on Sandra. 8 days.
Just over a week.
And on the way to her funeral, asked the agent if the policy was valid and would pay off already. Not good. The agent said he wasn't completely surprised by the question. Apparently, it's not unusual for bereaved relatives to inquire about the insurance payoff process in the early days after death. Is this something else I have to worry about? That makes sense.
Yeah.
However, after Sandra was killed, a number of other people connected to the couple talked to police about how they'd been approached by Bob Black to help him kill his wife. Oh, my God. So the cops said once, maybe we think they were bullshitting. Twice is getting bad. Three different people were like,
too much smoke. Too much smoke. The fire's raging.
He really wants to do this. Now, who does it all come down to? Mary, John's mom.
What'd Mom say?
She had lied to the police, gave him an alibi and all that sort of shit there. But they figured out a couple things. They figured out evidence that John was not visiting before, during, or after the murder of Joe Bannister. So they said, you lied to us. Right. So now she's backed in a corner, and she says, okay, fine, John Wayne was in Florida at the times you asked me about.
Uh-oh.
She gives him up. So that's not great. Then they contact her, and they said, quote, that's when she broke down and she told us she had lied about his alibi. She also gave, by the way, Mary gives police recordings of phone conversations between John Wayne and Debbie that had been recorded on her answering machine.
She hates that woman so much.
She fucking hates Debbie. So they said in between declarations of love, Debbie had given John Wayne details about her husband's schedule and when might be the best time to kill him. One time, John Wayne said, I can't stand this anymore. I've got to have you, he says to Debbie. This is after they finished finalizing murder details.
Ah, Jesus.
She also, Mary, gives detectives a photocopy of a $1,000 check made out to her son but sent to her. It was from Bob Black in Bryan, Texas. Oh, no.
Uh-oh.
Detectives contact police in Bryan, Texas, and said, you know anything about a Bob Black? And they go, well, his wife had just been murdered in her home, like just now. So now they connect these homicides. March 15th, 1985, John Wayne Hearn turns himself in to police in Texas. And they said...
Oh, shit.
He basically sits in the interrogation room and sobs uncontrollably the entire time, like a soldier of fortune would. He's a mercenary, Jimmie. What do you want?
Like a very dangerous man would.
Yep. And after a few hours of questioning, he confessed to everything. All of it. Everybody involved.
Two of the worst states to do this shit.
Oh, yeah. Exactly.
Oh, my God.
He said he was looking for bodyguard work when he placed this ad. He said he didn't expect to get 10 to 20 calls a day, and I got a call in 1984. She's looking for a strong-arm guy, and I end up shooting the guy, and the cop says, quote, he admitted he put the AR-7 gun together with one hand as he drove with the other. He put the gun in the groove of the truck window and fired 2 shots, hitting John Bannister's Ford Escort, the first shattering the window and striking Bannister, the second shot striking Bannister. That's the headshot.
Yep.
They said, so he started doing more. They figured all this shit out. It's wild. So Hearn is also extradited to Florida now because they got 2 murders on him there.
Right.
Jesus Christ. He waived extradition, and they said, we used a private outfit known as Prison Transport to bring him back. We're just borrowing him from Texas for a while. Right. I expect he'll go back to Texas once Florida is finished with him.
Unless we prosecute him, in which we have a deal with Texas where we will saw the gentleman right up the middle, give them half, and we keep half.
We can have half. We're going to kill him first anyway, so it don't matter. So they said in the indictment, the appearance of John Wayne Hearn might be critical to the indictment of others, they said, because they're indicting him first and they're using him to arrest everybody else is what they want to do.
Oh, boy.
So another source close to the investigation said Cecil Beatty's wife, Marlene, who was Debbie's sister, may have also been involved. So, yeah, because Hearn may have been contacted through an acquaintance with the sister's father. They said that Hearn may be cooperative with Florida investigators. The prosecutor said, our expectation is that he will plead guilty and not face a jury trial. I can't go into detail about why, but I have my reasons. In other words, we already are making a deal with him.
Yeah.
So he told investigators everything they need to know, including the role of Debbie Bannister, Marlene Sims, their parents, Frank and Iris, as well, are involved in this, as well as Bob Black.
Right.
Altogether, it's a six-pack of dipshits. This is a fucking amazing thing.
And Grandma's still homeless.
And Grandma's still homeless. She's sitting out in the front yard with her few remaining possessions.
In a rocker, just going, these goddamn kids.
Just pictures of my grandkids is all I got left. John Wayne plea bargains to avoid the electric chair.
Oh.
He enters a plea in the shooting of John Bannister. Did I call him Joe before? I meant to call him John. The circuit court judge, R.A. Buzzy Green, will sentence him later on. We'll talk about here. The state's attorney said the plea agreement was a tough decision to make to take Hearn out of the chair, but we would not have the cases we had otherwise. He said, I don't want this misconstrued. We have one hell of a circumstantial case against him, but we took the plea because now he'll testify against everybody. So, yeah, they said that. The plea bargain he signed, the state agreed to not seek the death penalty if Hearn promised to testify in the other cases. So they said that now it's stronger, and the prosecutor says, as distasteful as it may be, we have stronger cases. More indictments come down now. They indict Marlene Sims Watson, and her sister Debbie, obviously. Franklin Sims and Iris Sims are also indicted.
Oh, shit.
Not great here. The whole thing is a fucking mess. So they said that Hearn and Debbie Bannister planned to kill the husband up to a week before it happened. They met within 45 minutes of the slaying, so that ties them all together. Make sure she's in it. The state's attorney general said this is the most bizarre and complex murder case we've ever dealt with. If you had the movie rights, you'd probably make $1 million.
Yeah.
Or you can make a podcast out of it, either one. So Bob at the county jail, Bob Black, because he's in the county jail in Texas. A deputy sheriff from the Brazos County Jail in Texas there testified that Bob was being held pending trial. A map of the jail and surrounding grounds and some wire were found during a shakedown. Grady Deckard, another inmate at the jail, testified that Black had told him of an escape plot. So he's even trying to escape jail.
Holy shit.
So John is in court, and they say that, he admitted putting it all together. They talk about John Wayne Hearn. This is for Bannister, the Debbie's husband.
In Florida.
In Florida. Yeah. He admits to putting the gun together, shooting him in the Ford Escort, the whole thing. They described it, and they asked Hearn if the description was correct, and he said, yes, sir. And they find him guilty of first-degree murder.
Okay.
Now, we'll just do John's sentencing right away. You, sir, may fuck off, life in prison for you.
Yeah, of course.
That's what he gets. He also faces first-degree murder charges in Texas, and they said the plea agreement, though, applies to there as well.
Oh.
So worst he can do is life. Overall, he's sentenced to 3 life sentences, one for each. It's at this point Soldier of Fortune magazine comes under some fire.
Oh, yeah. He should. Yeah.
Yeah. They file a Gary Wayne Black, the son of Sandra, files a wrongful death suit against the magazine, and they're requesting a monetary reward here. The publisher said they had no way of knowing an advertisement in the military magazine would lead to a murder.
Did you read the ad?
They're asking for $22 million in money in civil suit here. Their lawyer said no one would suspect an ad would be seeking criminal conduct.
Okay.
The publisher, the editor, said he didn't think anybody would be so stupid as to put an ad for a felony in their magazine. That would be stupid.
You put the ad in your own magazine.
Jesus Christ, man. So that's how that goes. Hearn testifies at the magazine trial about his responses to the ad. Yeah. He had a big deposition, and he said that attorneys for the magazine do not dispute, by the way, that the magazine brought all these people together, but they insist the publisher, Robert Brown, had no way of knowing the ad was for illegal activity. Hearn's ad appeared for high-risk assignments. That could be anything. He could have been driving a truck in the snow. I don't know. Anything's high risk. He testifies, though, probably 90% of the calls I received concerned illegal activities.
Yeah.
He said 3 to 5 of those a day concerned killings. So that's a lot, man.
The rest of them were just people with dietary restrictions wanting to watch me eat the foods they can't eat.
Yeah, that's all it is, man. He also said in a deposition, he did not go into any detail, but he said that someone was trying to hire him to assassinate a Canadian official.
Diplomat?
Government official.
Wow.
He also said that there was a request to bomb the Oregon commune set up by Bhagwan Sri Rajneesh. He was going to blow this place up. He said, quote, a farmer wanted something done up there. He wanted some of the trailers blown up and to make it so no one was hurt. Okay. Hearn said he had his people check the place out and found it armed like a military base, and they said they had machine guns equipped. Yeah. He said they had a machine gun equipped helicopter, this commune. It's a weird commune. Yeah. Do you want to learn how to grow vegetables or fly the attack helicopter? Which one would you rather do?
Do you want to do upside down tomato baskets or the armed Apache?
Those are great. He said, we didn't take that assignment. That seemed ridiculous. Yeah. He said Black first contacted him about the sale of a gun collection and then suggested maybe he might need help killing his wife. And he said, quote, this is John Wayne, I intended to kill her instantly. I didn't want her to suffer. And he said he was upset because the first shot didn't kill her right away. Had to shoot her again.
Okay.
So in response to whether Soldier of Fortune or his publisher was responsible for his illegal activities, he replied, if I had never run an ad in Soldier of Fortune, I would never have killed anyone.
Great point.
That's fair. Why not? They said the magazine is devoted in no small part to violence. The pages of the magazine promote a subculture of violence, is what the prosecutors are saying here, or the civil suit side there. The magazine attorney, Larry Thompson, said the magazine was focused on Vietnam veterans, and the classified ads were run as a source of employment for them, but also appealed to military historians and people who like adventure. He said there are people out there who are armchair warriors. They want to live out their adventure at home. Okay.
Sure.
So the jurors are urged to tell the world the value of human life before they began deliberating. They deliberate for 2.5 hours, and then they come back. They rule against Soldier of Fortune.
Yeah, of course.
For $22.5 million.
Oh, shit, it's over for them.
Yes. Marjorie Iman, Sandra's mother, said, thanks to Robert K. Brown, that's the publisher, and his magazine, he taught his readership to do something I wouldn't know how to do. That is, contact and hire a professional killer. Thank you, Mr. Brown. Wow. They told the jury a true measure of civilized society is how much value we place on human life. You're the jurors are going to tell the world. Yes. They said they tried to stop him, but he wanted to run them. He liked them, all this type of shit. Hill said employees tried to warn the publisher that some of the ads had been linked to criminal activities, and he said, no, they're great. Leave them Jesus
Weapons
Christ.
specialist.
So he's not awarded the full $22 million, though. The jury awards Marjorie and Gary $9.5 million in damages.
Good award. That's not bad.
Soldier of Fortune immediately appeals to its readers for money. It says it needs to keep publishing and fight a $9.4 million court judgment. Yeah, I fuck up, you pay for it.
Holy.
The magazine is appealing the award to the family of a woman who was killed, and they say that the jury gives the award, but they say they need it. Mark Carson, an accountant hired by the magazine to be a trustee of the fund, said about 500 readers have sent in donations for a total of $12,000 to $15,000 so far, right away when they put it up.
Yeah, but that's a drop in the bucket when it comes to $9 million.
$9.5 million. Also, Prime Minister Brian Mulroney of Canada, Canada, here said that there was a report that an American was offered the task of assassinating him. And they said, well, we are aware from press reports that the allegations that John Wayne Hearn was approached in 1984 to assassinate the prime minister. We're actively pursuing an investigation of this allegation along with U.S. authorities. So they're doing that because they think that happened. Now, Debbie here, oh, by the way, they said that, I got to tell you a little bit more about Hearn here. Hearn said the Canadians financed the overthrow of the president of French Guiana to the tune of $100,000.
$100,000?
$100,000. He said that he did not go into the Canadian assassination request and did not mention Mulroney by name, Hearn. Hearn said in a deposition that the Guyanese president was terrorizing the population with murderous hit squads, but French Guiana is a protectorate of France and has no president. Hearn alleged, so it's not the president, it's some other guy. Yeah. Hearn alleged that he and 11 others trained in Tennessee for about 6 weeks before setting out for the South American country. They aborted the mission when they developed engine trouble while flying over the Gulf of Mexico.
Holy shit.
I don't believe any of that, by the way. None of that shit. Nothing. Debbie's trial comes around, and they called her widowed by her own hand, is what the prosecutor says.
Okay.
That's crazy. Bannister, Debbie testifies for 3 hours, admitting she had an affair with John, who confessed to shooting her husband, John, but she denied the plot to kill her husband. She said she first met Hearn at a truck stop before moving to Florida in 1978 to marry John Bannister. That's not true, by the way.
No.
She said she visited Hearn in Atlanta in December 1984 to get away from home and think. That's more like it. But Bannister's testimony conflicted with his. He said they first talked on October 30th, 1984. Never saw her before that, never knew about her. They produced phone records indicating 37 calls had been placed from Bannister's phone to Hearn's Atlanta apartment between October 84 and January 85, when Hearn finally just moved to Florida.
Mm-hmm.
So Bannister ends up being found guilty of second-degree murder, Debbie does.
Oh, boy.
Yes, oh, yes. And the sentencing comes around, and the judge says, you, ma'am, may fuck off 17 years in prison.
Oh, boy.
Which is the maximum allowed by law in what she is, fucking charged with. They said she showed no reaction when the verdict and sentence were read here. She's ordered removed from the courthouse and let out. The state attorney said, I'm satisfied with the sentence of the court because justice has been met. She was widowed by her own hand and will now pay for her actions. Yeah. Wow. Robert Adkins, whose home the Bannisters visited for dinner, traveling in separate cars that night, said he felt relieved at the verdict. He said, fortunately, the tracks of justice run straight and true. At least now I'll know where she'll be eating supper for the next few years.
Okay.
Marlene has to plead guilty as well.
Yeah.
I mean, remember, her husband's the first one. She only gets, you, ma'am, may fuck off.
9 years?
5.5 years in prison.
Really?
That is nothing. This is what? How is that possible?
She still is super involved with a conspiracy to murder.
Fuck yeah.
Jesus.
She wanted her husband dead. She just got other people to help. That doesn't mean
5.5? Florida. Wow.
Franklin and Iris Sims here. Their parents.
House burners.
They entered no contest pleas to being accessories after the fact to murder and were fined $5,000 each and given 5 years probation.
What?
They said, let's burn grandma's house down to get you that money to hire that hitman. That's 5 years probation. Are you fucking kidding me?
And then their fine together is the same as it costs to hire the hitman.
Yeah, $5,000 each. That's fucking crazy. Bob Black's trial comes around here, and they said it was kind of a open and shut case. Bob's case,
pretty good and
pretty
quick,
open and shut. Yeah, Hearn's already in prison. He's testifying against him. Right. It's all terrible for Bob here.
Oh, and in Texas, poor Bob.
Verdict comes in guilty as shit for Bob.
You cousin fucking bastard.
You cousin fucking idiot. So the sentencing comes around. Death penalty is on the table here for Bob, by the way. Trigger puller or not. The two special issues they hit with are deliberateness and future dangerousness. They're submitted for the punishment phase here. He offers a great deal of evidence as well. Witnesses say that Black had not been a mean or vicious child, which doesn't matter now. Right. Yeah. That's long gone. And that he won numerous honors in scouting, including being an Eagle Scout.
Doesn't matter.
So we should just let him walk free. Let him do some scouting.
Eagle Scouts kill too?
Apparently they don't think so. Yeah, let him go. The judge has a different idea. You, sir, may fuck off. Death penalty.
Oh, shit.
Lethal injection for Bob.
They're getting Bob hardest.
Hardest, absolutely. Bob's getting hit.
My.
Marlene got 5.5 years for essentially the same fucking thing.
The other two got a fine for hiring and facilitating.
I'm sorry, but this is wild, right?
Oh, boy.
So the appeals from Bob, by the way, is him claiming PTSD from Vietnam, which is real. We know for a fact he's not making that up.
Absolutely.
Based on multiple hospital visits and I could have read you 20 more pages of hospital reports too. So and this was before it was like convenient for him to say that was his problem. He was just seeking help.
Right.
So in his appeal, he contends that the evidence did not support the jury's findings, that he would be a danger to others and should be executed.
You're willing to fuck your cousin and murder your actual wife to make that a thing. You're
fuck
dangerous.
Your cousin harder and more.
Yes, you are so dangerous,
really
Bob.
Yeah.
You're a bad man.
Wow. The judge, though, said that Bob hired a stranger to lay in wait in your own home to kill your wife, have your son find it, and make it look like a robbery had taken place. He said the capital murder was senseless and a cold-blooded killing, they said. The Supreme Court also refuses to disturb a lower court decision that found Soldier of Fortune. We'll talk about that for a second. So Hearn's mom is also... this is crazy. Mary, she's so annoying. She gets the Florida prison officials to move him to South Carolina.
Oh, my God.
And they do it. They fucking do it.
How fucking annoying is that woman?
Who are the two least movable entities we have?
Marines?
The Marine
prisoners.
Corps and the Florida prison system. Those are the two immovable. They don't do anything for anybody that they don't want to do.
She moves more than mountains.
She manipulated that. That is crazy.
Fuck a mountain. I will move the Marines.
Wow. How do you get the Florida? But he didn't commit a murder in that state, ma'am. Doesn't matter. I want him by me. I mean, she's being a real pain in the ass. What is she? How does she do it?
She's good.
She is, and she's the same one who got another husband while she was still pregnant and 17 and all. Mary should have been a salesman.
She'd crush.
She'd have been multimillionaire by now. So, she's so annoying there. He was transferred to the Broad River Road Reception and Evaluation Center last month and is awaiting transfer to a maximum security prison as soon as space is available. He will serve out his prison sentences under the Interstate Corrections Compact, so he can go. The compact allows member states to swap prisoners who want to live in their home states. Only about 22 inmates have been swapped under the compact agreement, but she got it done. Fucking Mary, man. Holy shit.
Wow.
That is crazy. More than a dozen reporters from Canada have called in the past 2 days seeking information about Hearn.
Yeah.
But he refused all requests for interviews and won't elaborate on the "I was going to kill your prime minister" claims. Next up, Geraldo's involved. We got Ben Green, the book author, Geraldo, and John Wayne Hearn all set up from a satellite link up from the fucking prison there.
Yeah.
Which is insane. So he actually says Geraldo cuts away for a commercial and starts talking to the audience and says, okay, who has questions for the killer? Who has questions? Quote, unquote. That's what he fucking said.
For the killer.
Who's got questions for the murderer? Anybody? Questions for the killer? Questions for the killer? God, he's an idiot. So also on stage here, relatives of the murdered people, all sorts of shit here. And then Ben Green, the author, is sitting there in the middle of this whole thing trying to make sense of it. Holy shit. It's Green says, quote, Geraldo, who could probably boil down the Lindbergh kidnapping to a 10-second synopsis, had a hard time giving all the details in just a short version of the case.
Yeah, because this is so many people and it's so long.
So many people.
Yeah.
You need this is the format for this. He says, I had really worked on my sound bites for the Geraldo show. This is the author. I needed 20-second replies. I was afraid I'd get nervous and take off on rambling tangents.
Yeah.
So, holy shit. He said, quote, he was a mama's boy about Hearn.
Yeah.
I don't think he liked me calling him that in the book, but hey, I could have called him much worse things.
Suck titty, baby.
Yeah, as a fucking, at least not cousin fucker.
Yeah, yeah.
He said, quote, it's a small southern town story, and I grew up in a southern town. Most of the people in the book are just working people. I was scared what some northern journalist would do in this story. Everyone would be portrayed as a congenital idiot or something. Gee, how the fuck would we possibly get that out of this? How could we think for 1 minute that this one who's fucking his cousin to get this one to come here and then this one's back, you convinced to murder 2 people because this girl gives him a wild ride and this guy's shooting through trailer windows? How could we possibly portray anyone as a fucking congenital idiot here?
Well, a suck titty baby is coddled by his mother for 40 years.
Me.
How could it ever be idiots involved?
You know what the name of this episode is?
Congenital idiots.
Congenital idiots. There you go, Ben.
Yeah.
Your name is Green, author Green.
Or cousin genital idiots.
Cousin genital idiots. Cousin genital idiots. That goes so perfect. That fits so much better.
Yeah.
1988. Marlene, who was sentenced to 5.5 years, was released after serving 3 years in 1988.
Unreal.
She remarried soon after.
You are in danger, man.
She's a real prize you want to go home with there. And in 1990, opened a home daycare center with her father. What the fuck? You can be convicted of a murder-adjacent crime and run a daycare center?
Evidently,
that's fine. You get
allowed.
licensed for that?
Yeah. And her dad, is that the one that burned the house?
Yes.
Oh, my
Franklin,
God.
Who just got out of who's on probation. People. I'm on parole and he's on probation. We'll bring your kids over.
Bring your kids over. We're great at forming a plan together.
This is great. Yeah, it's going to be wonderful. This endeavor was short-lived, not surprisingly, because no one wants to give their kids to a murderer.
Because you still have to have clients.
Jesus. 1990, Soldier of Fortune appeals the ruling.
Wow.
And the U.S. Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals says, quote, the standard of conduct imposed upon the magazine was too high because the advertisement was ambiguously worded. Reverse decision.
You have to be kidding me.
Don't have to pay him a fucking thing. Yep.
You have to be kidding me. Ambiguous? It sounds so menacing.
It sounds menace. That's what I think they used that word at one point here. It did result in the magazine suspending the publication of classified advertisements for mercenary work.
Yeah.
Now you just have to have different codes and
some other code
it's fine.
word, yeah.
1992 is a last-minute appeal for Bob Black to not go to the fucking death chamber here. Get the needle. The appeals argue that Bob had been led to have his wife killed because he was suffering from post-traumatic stress syndrome that he had been brought on by his combat service in Vietnam. The court entered findings of fact and conclusions of law recommending that the relief be denied. The court reset Black's execution date from May 22nd, 1992. Black filed objections with the Criminal Court of Appeals and sought a stay of execution, but the Court of Appeals adopted the trial court's findings and conclusions and denied relief. So He has several grounds. His trial attorneys rendered constitutionally ineffective assistance by failing to investigate and offer for purposes of mitigation evidence that he suffered from PTSD.
Okay.
That seems legitimate to me.
Yeah.
Ineffective assistance of counsel for many other things. He says that's the PTSD thing is part of that. The Texas capital sentencing statute applied to this case violated the Eighth Amendment, he says. He said Black adduced evidence relating to his activities as a youth, including his accomplished participation in the Boy Scouts. They didn't take his good works into account enough, he said. Sixth Amendment right to counsel was violated when evidence of a conversation he had out of the presence of counsel with a jailhouse informant was admitted at trial. That's the guy who said they had a plan to escape.
Right.
He also says that guy's testimony was false, thereby violating Black's rights under the 14th Amendment. They used that escape plan big time at his trial to show that he's a future danger because look at him. He's trying to break out of prison. What could happen?
He's going to do it
what
now.
If he gets out?
Yeah.
Yep. He argued that the district court that his Sixth Amendment right to counsel was violated when Grady Deckard, the cellmate, was allegedly acting as an agent of the state, testified about statements. That's what every one of those says all the time. I guess they based it on letters written by Deckard to his attorney, which were excluded from evidence by the state court. So I don't know what he's talking about, and they don't let him go on that one. Also, different evidence and inflammatory evidence, failure to grant a motion to change venue, all these different things. The issue finally reaches the United States Supreme Court.
Is that right?
All of these issues for the stay of execution, and they vote 6-3 to deny a stay of execution.
Wow.
So they're going to execute him 6-3.
Boy.
So May 22nd, 1992 is execution day. He's declaring his innocence all the way up to the table.
Screaming it, yeah.
Didn't do anything wrong. He's joking around with everybody.
What?
He recites a poem. While strapped to the gurney, everyone's around, and he looks up to the guys that are, placing him in it, and he says, "I look like a stretched out cooked goose." He's joking around and laughed about it. In his final statement, he reads the poem High Flight.
What?
It's a poem. Quote, "Oh, I have slipped the surly bonds of earth and danced the skies on laughter-silvered wings. Sunward I've climbed and joined the tumbling mirth of sun-split clouds and done 100 things." And at that point, he gasped 4 times and stopped breathing when he got to that. Didn't get to finish it. It's got 2 more paragraphs in the poem.
That's dark.
That's dark shit in the middle of a poem. That's dark shit, man. Yeah.
Do you have any last words? Sure do. Here I go. All right, we're just going to start.
Yep. At least, normally not a fucking poem.
Jesus
not that
Christ.
many. He's like a sentence, maybe?
Yeah, I got 7 stanzas, guys.
Hold on. I got 2 more left to go.
Yeah, you go ahead with those words. We're gonna get over here.
Wow.
Somebody hates that poem.
That is fucking wild.
I've heard enough of this shit.
Fuck this poem. Now, give him extra. Give him extra that kind of knocks him out, because this is bullshit.
This poem fucking blows. Doesn't even rhyme.
Did he say silvered wings? Fuck this guy, right? Right?
Push the plunger, man.
Laughter, silvered wings, man. Kill this motherfucker. I'm sorry.
Did he eat? Oh, in Texas, they just give him whatever everybody else got, huh?
No, not at that point. But he has no last date. I looked for 2 hours in the middle of the night trying to find his last meal. Nowhere to be found.
I'm so sorry.
It's so brutal. I want to know too. I'm so curious.
I want to know what was coursing through his veins while that guy couldn't take that fucking poem.
Which stuffed crust pizza did he get? Is what I want to know. That's coursing through his brains. How many pork chops did he eat? Tell me.
He gasped in the middle of the poem.
Dead. Fucking unreal, man.
That's fucked up.
That is dark shit.
It really is.
That's grim, Karen. So his lawyer, by the way, Bob's lawyer, Peter Erlander, writes a big article called "The Wrongful Death of Bob Black."
Yeah.
And he said Bob Black never killed anyone except for his military service in Vietnam. He goes on to say, Bob Black talked about getting rid of his wife for years, and no one in Bryant took him seriously. But when Hearn needed to get out of Florida after the first 2 murders, he became deadly serious about it. So he blames it all on John Hearn, basically, and says that he didn't deserve it. The jury did not hear Bob's cellmate admit that he had lied in the death penalty hearing about Bob's planning to escape from jail. The cellmate said that he had lied in exchange for being made a trustee in the jail.
Oh.
So I don't think, dude, out of everybody doing this, Bob shouldn't be the only one getting killed.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
he shouldn't have.
Especially like getting killed.
Yeah.
John literally with his own hand killed three fucking people. If he's alive, you can't. It's just not proportional. It's just not.
And for Bob to go that way, that's fucked up, man.
Yeah,
that's
fucking crazy. So 1995, Franklin Sims dies. That's the Debbie and Marlene's dad.
Yeah.
2000, Iris Sims dies.
That's mom.
So they're both gone. Yeah, that's mom. 2004, Debbie is released from prison.
Okay.
After she was sentenced to 17 years, and she served 9 years and was released in late 2004. As far as we know, as of 2020, she was living in Oregon, as we know here. Now, John Wayne here, old John Wayne, Mary, by the way, because she died in 2004, his mom Mary.
Yeah.
She had hassled the prison officials to move her boy even closer to home. The state of South Carolina wasn't close enough. Closer.
I need him in the garage, you guys.
I'll build a cage in my garage. Just put him out there. He was incarcerated at the Perry Correctional Institution in Peltzer, South Carolina. 2020, Marlene, the little sister there, was living in Santa Rosa Beach, Florida. That's where the grandmother's house that burned down was, by the way. And she died in 2020.
Wow.
She's dead, and so they're all buried. Robert Vanoy Black Jr. is in Huntsville he's in the Houston National Cemetery. So he was in the military. He can go in there. So he's buried there, and that is Starke, Florida, and Bryan, Texas, and some crazy goddamn shit. I'm sorry, that's a wild
story
from top to bottom. That is a lot of murder and a lot of craziness and cousin fucking.
Yeah.
When you throw that in there, it really makes it weird.
Jesus.
So, holy shit. If you like that, tell the world about it, why don't you? Get on whatever app you're listening on. Give us 5 stars. Say something nice. It does help drive us up the charts. Certainly listen to our other 2 podcasts. Now I can say 2 because they're coming up. One is Crime and Sports. It's been going on for years, and it's hilarious. I'm sorry. We do a great job on Crime and Sports. If you like this show, you'll like that show. And finally, also, September 18th, we're finally getting your stupid opinions. Yeah. It's coming out. We cannot wait. It's going to be weekly. Us just making fun of people's stupid reviews from the internet of everything under the sun. So check those out and do that. Head over to shutupandgivememurder.com. Yeah. Is the name of our site. Not only that, shutupandgivememurder.com/virtual live. Right. Get your tickets to the virtual live show. We can't wait. We can't wait. October the 26th, we're doing another one. Wherever you are in the world, come out and watch us, or not come out, stay in. Do what you want.
Sit
home. In your living room. I don't care what you do. Sit in your car, sit in the yard, do whatever you want, but you can do it. It's going to be available from October 26th for a week after that, so all through Halloween as well. It's going to be nice. We're going to have costumes on. We're going to do a Halloween-themed episode, a nice creepy murder. Sure. So much fun. We can't wait for that. So get your tickets right now. Shutupandgivememurder.com/virtual live. They are on sale as we speak. Also, while you're at shutupandgivememurder.com, get your tickets for the Dallas show on December 2nd. And I think we just released a few tickets for Philly, so they might still be there. By the time you hear this, they might be gone. I don't know. So get your tickets for both of those. Thank you for selling the rest of it out, everybody. We really appreciate it. Boston sold out in like 3 days, 10 months ago.
Unbelievable.
So, you guys are incredible. Thank you for all that you do for us. We cannot wait to come see you for shows. Patreon.com/crime and sports is where you get all the bonus material. Super easy to get. Costs $5.
Yeah.
Anybody, $5 a month or more. It's a cup of coffee. Will get you so much stuff. Way more than a cup of coffee. It will get you over 200 back bonus episodes that are in there that you can listen to and binge. And then you're going to get new ones every other week. One Crime and Sports, one Small Town Murder. You get it all.
You do.
This week, what you're going to get for Crime and Sports, we're going to talk about a gambling thing that was going on in hockey in the 2000s, involving a very legendary player and a turned coach and a whole big mess called Operation Slapshot. Right. And then we'll also talk about the movie Slapshot, which somehow we had never seen. As adult men, it's the oddest thing, and we saw it on the same night, and we both loved it, and we want to talk about it, and we wish we could add it to our list of greatest sports movies, but we already did that. So we'll give it its own due. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about some behind-the-scenes stuff of that. It'll be fun stuff. So check that out. Then for Small Town Murder, we're going to talk about a very fun subject, being with Burning Man being a mess, and then Fire Festival 2 happening. We're going to talk about Fire Festival, what a disaster it was, and why no one should ever give Billy McFarland 10 cents if they expect to see it back. So there you go. Check that out. Patreon.com/crime and sports. And, of course, you are going to get a shout-out and here while Jimmie will mispronounce your name and try to get it right. When does that shout-out happen, now? Jimmie? Right goddamn now. Jimmie, hit me with the names of the people who would never, ever answer an ad in Soldier of Fortune magazine to have us killed. Hit me with them now.
This week's executive producers are Martin's son, Stephen Mall, Kyle Norweg, and his pup responding well to treatment. That's wonderful.
Terrific.
Claude Cavallo, Catherine Connaughton up in Canada. Thank you, Catherine. That was
in Canada?
Incredibly sweet. Connaughton in Canada. Yeah.
In Canadiana.
What Perfect. An angel of a woman. Other producers this week are Peyton Meadows, Andrew Grange. Rest in peace, Bob Barker. That's we've killed him a few times on the show, and he's now officially dead.
Several times.
Matthew Berube, maybe. Holden Bazingas, Scott McDonald. And he had a ticket for Charlotte, but it's too late for you. Janice Hill, Arnold Ziffel, and Wilbur Zuckerman's anniversary. Rabbi Shmulovich, and his quest to read every Harlequin book ever written, whatever that
Terrific.
means.
Get in there.
Jimmie the Wax Stick Whisman, Cody and Delaney Leversey. Happy birthday. No, happy birthday. No, it's their anniversary. Happy birthday to your marriage.
Happy marriage birthday.
This
time someone squeezed your marriage out of their twat. Good job, guys.
Thomas Smith, Ronnie Hubbard, Nathan with no last name, Troy Lobel, Surateg Ant, Suritug, Liz Brinkley, Jamie McKean, Sia, I think, with no last name, Michael Warame, Annie Harris, not Annis Harry. Well, all right. Oh, boy. Yeah. SC with no last name. Diudenday, Van Ash Van Widgick. All right, that's not right. Baby Yaga, Susan Churchill, Ryan Mayo. Ginger Noble, Lindsay Collette, Kennedy Lemieux, Blake Kernigan Hills, Keely Barrientos Christians, Whitney with no last name, Katie Dow, Melanie Scott, Darren Foyle, William Brown, Susan with no last name, KB Carson, William Mentillo, Emmy with no last name, Mark Parambo, Ashley with no last name, Zach with no last name, Kendall with no last name, Richard Herman, Taylor Mann, Nick Robinson, Sophie Tix, Jonathan Bennett, Joel Dulka, Crystal with no last name, Jessica Collier, Fiddly Frog, Taylor Burns, Eric from Portland, Tommy D, Jean E. Johnson, Sky Man, Brianna Taylor, Bobby O'Hara, Gina Fortune, Andrew Garanje, Justin with no last name, Etienne Perrault, Carissa with no last name. Perrault. Yep. Sonia Harry. Angeli. Angeli Peptic. Paul Harris. Patrick Morales. Anna K. LP. Son Barrett. Megan Gorey. Adam B. Devin Martinez. Arab. Jade with no last name. Jade Aguilar. Amanda Godsey. Aileen Murphy, Chase, Slazinski, Selena, and Kendall Reeve, Jacob Nuss, Bernadette with no last name, Bailey Bune, June Richardson, Home Slice and the Boat, Adam with no last name, Dr. MX Kelly, Holly Dennis, Sarah J, Lisa C. Wirt, Lisa C. Wirt, all right, Jenna Nadalis, Cameron Smith, Nathan Weddle, all right, Amory DeJoey, Amari DeJoey, all right, Shannon Sprout, Tammy Brown, Leslie with no last name, Mike Hawks, all right, are you proud of you? Tommy Parisi, Garrett Gardner, Alex Thornhill, Maria Hunter, Jordan Tornabini, John Lurcher, Lisa Chamberlain, and Matthew Berube, Alan, Lorberbaum, Taylor Smith, Mary Willis, Larry Conger, Erica Knoll, Ethan Whitehead, Kirshner's 14358. That's not a phone number. Cam with no last name, Daryl Yarrow, Chad Wilbur, Jess with no last name, Jen Johnson, Brittany Matt White, Courtney Quam, Micah Chatfield, Robert Forbes, Angel, Angela, Cardo, Kayla Phi, Declan with no last name, Catherine Chirac, Gilly Bobs, Nellie Fonzarelli, Alexis Kaijanecki, Abby S.
Perfect. Nailed it.
Julia Real, Eva Thorpe, Shanna Polite, Chris Moyle, Celine DeSkunk, Ann Wimmer, Elizabeth K., Rob Crow, Tamara Culver, Arice, Clorinda Harvey with no, Chris with no last name, Henry Purdy, Kristen Cunningham, Landon Wayne, Jade Trimble, Beverly Soulshine, Bianca with no last name, Joe Fight, Tia Holly, Dabrowsko, Zara Jr., ARA, that's a name, that's a person. Thank you. Elisa Adlam, Angie Richards, Jay Melton, Bob with no last name, Donovan Black, Brendan Brett, Andrew Revelis.
Expected something more complicated.
Brett. I took a breather for that. Andrew Revelis, Roy Wethington, Mike Kubiak, probably not. Maybe,
Gary's
possibly. Son. It was a Yahoo address. It probably is. Chloe Pickering, Ryan Fosna, Stephanie Price, Natasha Armstrong, Kelly Carter, Jesse Wilkins, Jory Thompson, Weston Tucker, Natalie Marie, P.S., that's just the names, Lucy Gunderson, Tony Smith, Amber Rowley, Kate Hedges, Caitlin Long, Jamie Campbell, Paul Churicato, Kara Chaco, all right, Corey Madison, Linda Gravely, Devin, Kevin Deerstein, Otter with no last name, Ashley Smith, Michael Barrett, Kat Harvey, Cora Lukehart, Keith Lennon, Christy with no last name, Vicky with no last name, Megan with no last name, Alana Renee, Alyssa Lemon, Chris Conley, Nicole Schuldays, Deborah Hounsel, Mike with no last name, Lori Checkley, Mandy Ramirez, JJ Blueheart, Susan Bryan, Brandon Peterson, Trisha Reddy, Jessica Long, Caitlin Wellborn, Jenny Gilliam, L. Heed, Jill Free, Kaylee Buchholz, Tanya Layden, Jesse Wallace, Jennifer Madison, Warbegals, Wald Vogel, Stephanie Lynn, Daniel Cropley, Hannah with no last name, Daniel Farron, Leah Apple, Chris Ferguson, Bruce Ballweg. All right.
Nice name.
Chris,
Strong.
those balls, Bruce.
Strong name.
Chris Allen, Peggy Simmons, Terry Esposito, Scott Wales, Cade Roach, Isaac Klinger, Dylan Graham, Kaylin Baker, Nikki with no last name, Joe Neely, Brody Pemberton, Matthew Wilson, Kendall Ramage, Morgan Ruhlman, Roman, Amy Elder, Scott Wadico, Simone Claxton, Josette Thiel, Lord Beno maybe, Melissa with no last name, Miss Beans for breakfast, Miranda Childers, Zoe Tuttle. What is it?
Avoid her by lunch.
Zoe Tuttle, Carol Andrudeze, Tiffany Lambert, Andrew Chiala, Tiffany Hensley Cummings, Patricia Pratt Terry, Colleen McGinnis, Elizabeth Jackson, Mark Lilly, and all of our patrons. You're amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everybody, so much for all that you do for us. We hope you love the bonus stuff as much as we love making it.
Yeah.
Thanks for hanging out with us and doing all that shit. We really do appreciate it. If you want to get a hold of us on social media, excessively easy to do that. shutupandgivememurder.com. Links are right there. Come see us. Keep coming back because we can't stop coming back. And until next week, everybody, it's been our pleasure.
Bye.
If you like Small Town Murder, you can listen early and ad-free now by joining Wondery Plus in the Wondery app or on Apple Podcasts. Prime members can listen early and ad-free on Amazon Music. Before you go, tell us about yourself by filling out a short survey at Wondery.com/survey.
In the 1980s, a rosé swept the country.
Hey, Mike, I really like this White Zinfandel.
Well, good. Now put it down. We're going to try another one.
White Zin became America's top-selling wine. But most don't know that this sweet drink has a sour history. What began in 1986 with counterfeit bottles,
a big fraud, a multi-million-dollar fraud,
sent investigators chasing one of the most powerful families in the business, the Licciardis. But the closer the feds got to them, the more dangerous things became. It's a story of deceit.
At the time, I was paranoid.
Threats.
You touch my kids, I will kill you.
And murder.
With a .22 caliber bullet to the head.
What started with a scheme to mislabel wine spilled into a blood-soaked battle for succession. Welcome to Bloodvines. You can binge listen to Bloodvines exclusively and ad-free on Wondery Plus. Join Wondery Plus in the Wondery app, Apple Podcasts, or Spotify.